All right, we're live. Awesome, man. We got a great guest today. This is Let It Out, Gerald's flagship show. He's been killing it. We have over 100 videos on
What?
YouTube now, so
100.
pretty excited to announce that.
Awesome.
We've got a great guest today. He's got his own set of shows. He's got his own content. Good friend of ours, good friend of mine. I'll at least say for me.
Me too.
And it's great because I think in the indie scene, you know, we have different points of view and different ways of looking at things, and we're such a tight-knit community that if you allow yourself to have that olive branch out, I think everyone could be friendly with each other, and that allows for such a good growth of properties, of creativity, and yeah, the family is small. In the indie community, a lot of us know each other, and it's been a great ride. Being allowed to be a part of some of these families, part of this community. So it's been huge for me in the last what has it been, over a year now that we've been doing Comics Cast. So lots of fun. But we're gonna have a great conversation with him. We're gonna be drawing, so draw along with us. Go to our art show on Facebook to be able to post your art as we go along. And yeah, like I said, YouTube's got over 100 videos. A little bit of conversation real quick. I'll show YouTube here in a second, but we'll finish up our Inside the Indie Studio series. We have our last three. We've got Joy Enriquez, which is doing an Adam and Eve drawing, and talking about her past and what made her into a great artist. We got Nick Garber, the creator of Phantom Hawk, who's drawing Winter Soldier. He's going to talk about his campaign, his experience in the military, what he does since he's been out, but ultimately as a production house in the indie scene. And then the big dog, Joe Will's art, is going to be doing Invincible. So he does a great Invincible. He talks about his career. He talks about what he's doing now. It's going to be great. Every Wednesday for the next 3 weeks, we're going to have at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's going to go live on YouTube. So check it out. Go follow us on YouTube. We'll go ahead and pop that up right now. Boom, look at that. That's our YouTube channel. We have 300 followers right now. We want to bump that to 1,000 just so that we can get a little cheddar cheese in our pocket to allow us to make more videos, and maybe Gerald can put some gas in his car or whatever it is. But let's let these platforms work for us, and as we continue to build the community. 300 right now with over 100 videos. We've got Let It Out. We've got the Artist Roundtable, where we talk to industry professionals who've worked in the big scene as well as the smaller scenes, with loads of potential there to learn from. What else do we have? We have the Inside the Indie Studio. And then we have various drawing videos that we've done. Yep. Where we've got the video where Gerald and I collab and we created the what is his name?
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler, yeah, good old Nightcrawler. He penciled it and I inked it, so that's fun. And then we have the SummerCon on the grounds, which I may go back to SummerCon. We've got another one.
Yep.
So we'll see about that. That was a pretty big hit. So go check it out. Go watch the videos, share, subscribe, and let us know what you guys think. All right. So that being said, Gerald, go ahead and take it away, brother.
Yeah, and also you don't want to forget the mentor block. We only had 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, we got mentor block. That's right.
Yeah, we got Rick who came through. I mean, those are things that you should definitely check out. We only had 2 episodes. Hopefully, maybe Rick will do some other episodes. But Robert Marzullo and Marius Arianico paired up with up and coming artists, and great lessons to learn there. They share their valuable insight, and you get to see it all happen.
Let's not forget we had Robert Marzullo on this channel, guys. Let's not waste that talent. He just shows us so much of his skill set. Robert Marzullo is a beast, and he's a legend in the indies community. So go check it out. That video, it's criminal how many views it has. Let's pump up the views.
Criminal. Right? Yeah. So thank you, Joe. You really had a lot just to encapsulate in that short amount of time. I just also want to say what Comics Cast mission is, and Comics Cast.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, the mission of Comics Cast is definitely to get eyes on the indie creators, basically. And Let It Out is just one of many vehicles, one of the things that we use to help get that word out. But if you're in the indie scene, if you're in the indie comic community, we want you on Indie Comics Cast on YouTube, but Comics Cast on Facebook. We want to get you out there, get eyes on you. your original characters, your IPs, intellectual properties. We basically want to make sure that you guys are up there, so that way you can compete with the big dogs in terms of like we don't need to mention those bigger companies, because I think the indie scene is where it's at, especially with all the things that are going on in the world today. It just seems like the bastion for creativity is all in indie in the indie scene. So that being said, go check out our YouTube page. We have over 100 videos. Joe said that I need to come up with a better word than plethora. I like
plethora is fine. It's just, let's be accurate. We have over 100 videos.
Okay, all right.
But like Gerald said, it's all about promoting the indie scene, promoting indie creators. But ultimately, the reason why we do it is because Comics Cast is building a platform that is going to make indie creators into their own professionals.
Yes.
Full-on professionals, because at the end of the day, we are all fighting to find time to create this. Like, Comics Cast is made by the community for the community. And just like everybody else, we're trying to find time to do X, Y, and Z. We got a day job and all this other stuff. Gerald works, I work. But it's all about building something that allows the community to focus on their creativity full-time, 100%. Yeah. So it's all about building to that new platform. So we've got a number on the wall of how many followers we need when we create the product. We're going to have to keep pumping it out. If you guys want to be a part of this, the best way to do it is to follow Comics Cast. And when we launch, support the indie community, right? By working with our product as we put it out there. So more to follow. We've talked about it a lot, but really this is, let it out. This is about focusing on the indie creators and continually building that community. All right.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of that independent community, our guest today is a major voice in the independent community. And not only that, he's a talented artist. He has his own show as well. And we're going to dig deeper into that once we introduce him to you. But I'm going to do the little drum roll here. And Joe, well, actually, Joe, are you in the...
I'll let him in. Yeah, you drum roll. I'll let him in.
Here we go. Let's get our guest
I'm just sharing right now, so don't mind me.
All right, here we go. And our guest today is...
I don't hear the drum roll. What?
I'm trying to do my head.
There it is.
Lowest drum roll I've ever heard.
Yeah. I know.
There we go. We got our
Nerds of the Round. He's got his own show.
Nerds of the Round.
You know, we try to focus on the art, strictly on the art, strictly on the creators, and we try to avoid taking advantage of the conversations that everybody wants to have. We really want to do it on Comics Cast, but it's not our lane. And we want to have those conversations about Loki, about Captain America, all that Marvel goodness, and DC. I think you guys have had some conversations on DC.
We've had multiple conversations on everything.
We've both been on there. Joe, Gerald, I speak to myself in third person, I guess. We've both been on your show. We love it. It's a great way of nerds just disagreeing about stuff, agreeing on stuff, just kind of talking about what we love. So I love your show. Watch it as much as I can.
Thank you.
Whenever I can sneak to get on there, I try to get on there.
Joe,
and we've been oh man, it's pretty interesting. The pandemic, since we started going lives and all that, we've been like booked like crazy. It was like, oh, okay, that's a good thing. I think we took our first break in June. We took one day off. I was like, yeah, we need a week, bro.
Yeah, I think we took a month off at one point. Gerald was just like, I'm done. Go do something else.
It was not that way, but it did. We all need to like focus on our mental health and just take a break sometimes. It's one of the things that, we can all be gung-ho about our hobbies and our passions and our beliefs, but, we're human, man. We got to take some time off. So, but that being said, Sebastian Bonet, welcome to the show. It's about time that you were a guest on our show because
it's about time.
Yeah, I know. It's been a long time coming. We had to like Sebastian said, he's a busy man. Sometimes you guys do like 2 or 3 like during the week, maybe?
We do. It really depends. Like we go live on Tuesdays. We do recordings on Wednesdays. We're going to be shifting our schedule again back in August. But yeah, it's and sometimes we go back-to-back recordings on Wednesdays or Tuesdays. Sometimes we'll have like a doubleheader. So I really work the guys, and they look at me, and I'm like, no, we work. We're a whole team, and we find the guests, get them on, and just talk to people about their stuff, get them on, have conversations. So we're always constantly busy. Then we're having meetings of making sure, because people like, oh, you guys, you vibe. I was like, yeah, we vibe, we do code and all that, but we also prepare everything too. So we have our meetings as well, and then that's outside of that. Then there's our and beyond duties and our own brand duties. So we're
definitely
we're busy.
Lots of duties.
The duties.
Lots of duties. Anyway, bad joke. But I just wanted to say, Sebastian is a man of many talents. We talked about his show, which is Nerds of the Round. They do not only live shows, but they do the produced shows that are. His better half, his wife, is a very talented audio and video designer as well. She does a lot of the things, and Sebastian and his spouse are just like a team supreme. So you get
that must be nice.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Boss.
I don't have a spouse, so yeah.
Listen, she's the boss, but also too she's on point with everything. When it came to preparing them video, how to prepare stuff, and all the feedback and everything that she gives, she is an underpaid talent that anybody out there who hires her, they're going to get a great talent and team. And even right now, she's got it into doing journal layouts, that she has planners and everything. She's made books, binded books by hand, and she's even repurposed furniture, like fully sanded it down, repainted it, and everything. So my wife is a talented person. I don't know how when I stand next to her when it comes to the talent, I'm like, yeah, it's all her. It's me. I'm just there.
You're lucky.
You are so lucky
man.
Yeah, I'm gonna book her for the next show.
You know what? Let's just switch Sebastian out. Give it to life. We don't need to talk to you.
Yeah. I tell you.
Oh no.
No.
No. Not me today.
Yeah, it was funny because I think that I got Sebastian in trouble yesterday because we were doing a pre-show yesterday, and we just went on a tangent. I actually had to keep on drawing it back. I was like, you know what? We're not even talking about Sebastian. We were like going off on these weird things, and it's like, oh my gosh, get back to talking about Sebastian.
Well, sometimes I gotta tell Jared, I'm like, look, I love your pre-prep stuff. He is so committed to his pre-show work, and I'm like, look, man, let some of it be a mystery. You don't want to know everything before you start talking to the guy. Like, come on.
Sebastian knows everything. He's gonna pull it out. That's it. It's like, this, and that. That's it.
Sebastian is a man of mystery. I could talk to him for days, and I would still not get to the bottom of the deep well that is Sebastian. He's so deep. But anyway, that's
tangents. That's all those. It was just tangents.
That weird.
That was my fault. I almost got chanclas thrown at me. Thank you.
That's right. Okay, so for those of you who are watching, Sebastian Bonet, you can get in touch with him. You can see the little scrolling ticker at the bottom. Because we did talk about Nerds of the Round, but this is all about Sebastian. Nerds of the Round is an integral part of Sebastian, but we also want to focus on his art, some of the things that his own IPs and his own original characters, as well as the stuff that he's done for other people. He's a man of the independent community, known on the con circuit. In fact, the cons are going to be starting up again. So I think that it'll be good to hear those stories, because I got to know Sebastian through Drink and Draw. I got to know him through Eric Hutchison. In Beyond, we got to hear a lot about those little things, and he's become not only a good good guy in the independent community, but I'm proud to call him my friend. And Phil's saying what's up, dude? So what's up, Phil? And let's get the party started. So let's go to moving the part of the show we call the elevator pitch. So you definitely have more than one floor to talk about yourself. Sebastian, I'm going to hand the mic over to you, and I'm going to show some of your artwork in the background. So that being said, the mic is in your hands. Go for it.
I am Sebastian Bonet, international man of mystery. No,
I gave him that new title. Yeah, look at that picture. How could you not?
Man, how can you?
First off, so that's your wife's photo of you?
Yep.
That's talent. She made you look really good.
She did. Look at that.
Listen, it's become the profile. It's like, that's it. Like, here you go. Market it. There you go.
There it is.
And she did that with her. She did that with her phone too. It wasn't even like a professional camera. It's like, check, I got it. I was like, oh wow. So
yeah,
I am Sebastian Bonet, the creator behind the comic of Dead Planet that came out in 2016, founder of the podcast Nerds of the Round, and the founder for the company that is building from the ground up, Dorky Creations. I've been doing the convention scene since 2016. Debuted it at Imbion Con, which again was ran by Eric Hutchison, who has been my mentor for the last few years. I've dropped various different projects, such as Deadline, which was a free webcomic that I had dropped. Worked with Rich Dresden from Dresden Media, Luckyzilla. I have also worked with the guys at Wayward Raven Studios as a guest artist on Damn Heroes. And also, too, I'm currently working with R.A.A. Rubin on Mr. Stupendous. I have worked as a writer for Luckyzilla number 20, which was released in December. And overall, I am the showrunner for Imbion Con for the last 3 years. That is the pitch.
That's the pitch. That's great.
Wow, and it's so professional. You got that smooth delivery. Yeah, that's one of the things I love about listening. Even if I can't watch and I can listen to Nerds Around, because you run that show so smoothly. It's like you're like the moderator, but you weave in your own opinions, of course. But when you have the guests in there, and I know keeping law and tone under control, because they're incredible hulks. They just want to get out there. It's like you can kind of like weave it in there. I love how you manage your show. But here we are. We got some of the art here, and I just wanted to show your breadth of work, the diversity of your work. And as I'm flipping through this, you want to talk a little bit about your art? Let's go to the very beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, first, I'm going to give the entire Nerds Around team a big shout out because, again, Law told me, without them and without Jess, the show wouldn't be where it's at because, again, we gelled, we're family, we're together and all that, and we all, want to see everything succeed with it and pick up the pieces. When it comes down to my artwork, yeah, that's graphic artwork that I did right there for the Nerds Around. That's actually the new logo, which I was getting picked on to do for the longest because the old one was temporary, and that was just some of my logo work that was being done. And then the next few pieces that's a graphic piece of Chris Van Dyke for the thumbnail that we were doing for Nerds. I wanted to keep that looking artistic. That's why it has that sketch feel to it.
Oh, I love sketches.
And then I had done this overlay with it where it looked like it was sketched on old paper, something similar like this type of old paper.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is something that my wife had made me. It looks like an old sketchbook that's been worn and torn. But yeah, I had done that digitally, and it was fun just drawing Chris. It was for our creator series talking about his his publishing company, Skullgate Media. And then the next one, I did that same feeling for the You Free podcast. One of the guys there is actually Tone's co-worker, came on, we talked, he told us about his podcast. Listen, we got to do a creator series talking to you guys. They're called the You Free podcast. They're a communal podcast, which I thought was pretty dope. It's just people just having conversations and talking and learning about each other's backgrounds. And it was just, it's a really cool, chill environment. And they're talking to various professionals. And I was like, I want to capture what they were doing. So again, I went with that sketch feel, but then the person in the middle, I was like, I wanted to be representative that anyone can fit themselves into that center. It could be like Joe, Jarrell, Rick, anybody. It could be Rosario Dawson right there in the middle, because again, it's a communal podcast. And then I left the world there purposely in color because again, that together we're united and all that. It was just representing right there. So it was fun doing this piece for these guys.
What I tell you, Sebastian, deep guy, definitely knows those working on those things.
That's long nights of coffee.
There we go.
This one was fun too. This is actually a comic character for Jason Lennox. Jason Lennox did a book called Lords of the Cosmos. We dropped a creator series featuring him. It was cool talking with Jason. And want to deep dive, talk about movies and Heavy Metal Magazine. Jason is your guy. He has a Kickstarter coming up soon, and a Kickstarter also with well, I'm not going to give it away, but it is going to be a color. But no, we have him coming back on the show. So I thought for his thumbnail it would be fun to draw the bust of his character. So that whole thing, the background, the character drawing, I did that all through Clip and Photoshop.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was telling you. Man of many talents. Not only illustrates, he's a photo collage guy in Photoshop here. So weaving in there. I see the typography that you're working in there as well.
Yeah, I had to make those planets from scratch, the space from scratch. I was like, and then I had to draw, and again, I kept that with the ink stuff. This is actually, again, for another thumbnail. That's Amy Taco. She's a voice actress, cosplayer, and she was dressed as a character at Anime New York City, known as Alucard. So she kind of like did the gender swap and everything. It was fantastic cosplay with the guns, the way the hat was designed and everything. And she's just an awesome individual. She's on Twitch and everything. And we wanted to highlight her gaming, her voice acting, and also to her ability to make like she's one of my favorite cosplays she did was a Luke Cage cosplay. That's when I first saw her. She got like the old school Luke Cage with the chains and everything. I was like, dude, that's just dope. But yeah, this was fun to do again and kept it with the anime style for her.
Awesome.
And that's the thing I want to talk about in terms of Sebastian's art style. It's it has, you can see some obvious manga anime influences here, but it has a certain what is, I'm going to say, like a street graffiti style as well. You know, I don't know how you would describe it. That's how I see it. I see a lot of influences, you know, in terms of things that you're, you know, interested in, and you pull it off. It's just done really well. Here we have, I mean,
Superman and All Might. I had to put them together because again, I wanted to showcase you have two Supermen, and I think that they were when you see My Hero Academia, All Might is the closest thing I've ever seen embody the whole thing about Superman and everything, and I just wanted to do a whole collage picture of these guys, so I drew the bodies, drew the colors. What's up, Arelis? Thanks, Rick. And I wanted to draw Superman looking like, you know, the style in All Might's colors and everything too. So it was just fun to put that piece together. I had debuted it at one of the shows, and one of the things I was like, you know, as you can see, like All Might's hair and Superman's cape kind of overlap the borders that I created around, and that's the only thing I let overlap the borders to kind of let it kind of stick out a little more.
Yeah.
And again, it just like, this is a superhero picture, the most superhero picture you're going to get from me. And it was just two cool characters that I think embody justice and everything. So that was fun to do that piece.
And then as we keep on moving on here, I love your style. It definitely fits, I think, in the Borderland universe. I played the first one, a tremendously fun game. But, you know, like I said, yeah, that urban street style, which, like I said, has that cell shaded, you know, you don't go over render like super realistic lighting and coloring. But it fits well. I mean, I think you could be a character designer within in the Borderland universe.
Yeah, dude, Borderlands has some of the funnest characters I've ever seen created, like Tiny Tina and all that. Again, yeah, like you said, I used to do graffiti art. I love doing a lot of anime art. I was big into like we talk as we've spoken on multiple conversations, guys, like the image art and everything, like the sometimes with the heavy lines, the shady lines. So it's like I just been combining. I just worked to combine a lot of that stuff together. And then the other thing too was I try to focus on a lot of shape and form. Thanks, Rick. I try to focus on a lot of shape and form to make the characters pop out. So I know my anatomy sometimes is crazy, but a lot of times I just want to focus on the shape and the form to make an image just really pop out. And a lot of the times people go, well, you do that digital art. Can you? I was like, I want the rough lines. I want it there. It speaks for everything because it feels like it feels less digital that way. When the lines feel rougher, it's like, you know, oh, I'm giving like a whole drawing, because a lot of people are really, really, really clean with their lines, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
That's not me.
I'm never gonna say that's just not me. I want that, and
it's just different, brother. And well, I had to say this when I saw this earlier. I was blown away. It really fits that Borderlands feel. Like it just nailed it, man. Absolutely killed this one.
Yeah, your color choices too. That the red background, it really, you know, it's. I think if you go with such a bright color, sometimes that can detract from the artwork. But you're using it, actually, it frames your artwork much. It's more effective. And
right. I mean, even looking at where you chose not to use it, like around the arms and the hands, it really makes those hands pop. Yeah. It's really quite dynamic. Yeah. Very cool, man.
One of my favorite pieces of yours. And then we have some more tribute style, like commission artwork, right?
Yes.
You want to talk about this one?
This was for a gaming couple, killer couple play. The boyfriend is my wife's cousin, roommate. He wanted some pieces designed for him because they do Twitch streaming. I designed him like he looked like he was from the game Cyberpunk 2077. He loved it so much. He commissioned me again to do a piece featuring his girlfriend as one of the sisters from Resident Evil. So I took her image, I lightboxed a quick sketch of her image. Went back in there, threw in the inks, refined it. So this way it looked a little bit tighter with the inks. Did my little bit designs there, like the necklace, as you can see. I made it into like different controllers representing different game consoles.
Cool.
And then a lot of it was going to be the colors and the eyes that were going to make it pop out. So it was going in there doing a lot of rendering with the colors, a lot of smoothing with it, just to make it pop, especially like around, because the sisters are really known for their beautiful little bloody mouthpieces. And I was like, okay, how I'm going to get this to fit there. And then the whole thing with like the makeup and all that, and then creating the symbol on her head. So I go in there, mess with different opacities, create the different layers, merge them together, and that was just fun to do. And then when they saw it, she was like, "Yeah, I just love this. This is so dope." I was like, "Yep, enjoy."
Let me ask you a few questions about your commission experience. Like you seem to have gotten, you're very busy on the commission side as well as everything else you got going on. And I think a lot of people that are watching that are artists that are up and coming, trying to figure out the game. How do you develop those relationships to get that? Like, are you just posting stuff online, or is it just, you know, repeat customers that like your work and you're just effective? Like, how's that worked out for you?
Well, the one thing I'm going to recommend to people, what was told to me, which I give always credit to Chris Duckett, is that if you're getting into this game, learn business, take a business course, because it lets you learn how to kind of price yourself and how to deal with that when you're dealing with customers. Take your customer service experience. So when I'm looking to pull in commissions, I'll just tell people, like, you can commission me, I'll give them a rate, fill them out, but I'm always going to stick to my rate and know your worth. And then when you get those commissions, complete it, do it. Just go out there, do it, boom, done. Like, for example, I'll be like, this piece, I'll tell you, listen, I could commission this for me. I'll do the pencils for you, 75 down. If you don't like the first one, you have one revision with that. Anything after that, we have to cut another price. So you got to take the payment up front too, because a lot of the times when you're doing the work and people don't pay you up front, you're going to be doing a lot of work and they don't, you know, you're going to be stuck with a piece that has happened to me before. So you could establish a payment up front, or you could establish a down payment of, okay, to lock this in, you have to pay me $20 to lock this down. One is this, that's non-refundable. That is now yours. You still made some money in some way. And two, guess what? They commissioned you for the piece. They don't want it. You can always go sell it. You could go sell it as a digital print and all that, and it can't say anything. I mean, you know, and it's learning how to make your contracts. So you definitely want to have something in writing with people, because when people go, oh, just give you their word, a lot of the times, you know, when you're dealing with people who are just giving their word, they can always backtrack. So I didn't say anything. So always have like a digital record, and you know, and work a contract in some way, so that this way, you know, if anything has to go to small claims court and all that, which I hopefully doesn't have to, but this is not a perfect world. That crap happens. You have something to back you up, especially when it's like a project that you end up spending thousands of hours on, and you're charging on that hourly rate. And it's like, if you get commission from a company doesn't hesitate. They give you a contract to sign.
Yeah.
Like, I've learned that when I did the booth for Alcon, I had done some graphic design work, designed a whole booth. I got paid really well for that one. But again, they made sure that there were contracts signed, so that if I effed up and didn't deliver, they could take me to court and be liable, because I was liable for that. So do that for yourself as an artist. Don't hesitate. That if someone is not going to agree to your contracts, agree to your rate, that's someone you don't want as a client anyway. And learn how to fire your clients. I understand we're in this business, or we gotta, you know, 100%. We gotta 100% provide customer service, because that's what you're doing. 100% to a client who hires you. You want to treat them like how you want to be treated. So you want to present 100% customer service. We all worked in customer service. We all worked in sales. But learn how to fire a client, because if you have a bad client that's gonna keep on with stuff like that, well, this and that, you gotta you know what, this is not gonna work. Definitely, Rick. This is not gonna work. And you could do the nice thing. Like I got some other artists I could recommend to you. You reached out to them, let them know because I am not the artist for you, and you do it nicely. Because and if they get nasty, you kill them with kindness. Because at the end of the day,
Right.
that's gonna hurt them more versus you getting all pissy and angry with them. Because again, I have a short fuse. And I've had to learn that. I've worked in customer service for years, and that's something you have to learn. Is like you have to kill everyone with kindness because that makes you win 10 times more because they can't say anything. You look greater in the public eye than if you had argued with that person.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I love that you said was, you know, it is a small community. We know a lot of each other. We know each other's strengths and weaknesses. We know each other love to do. So, you know, passing it off to another person, being, hey, you know, hey, Gerald, whatever, you know, I've got this client. He's looking for X, Y, and Z. It's not really my lane. You know, I think you'll be a better fit once you reach out to him. That's going to continue to build the community's trust with each other too, which is going to be great. My problem is I created a cricket cost. All right. Once I put out my rate, it's crickets.
Hey, listen, at the end of the day, it's gonna be crickets. It happens. And the thing is this is that, and I for example, I posted a piece up on TikTok and I'm selling it for the price I value it. I value the piece at $100. Other people may not value it as $100, but that right person is going to come along. The history behind the piece, it was featured in an art exhibit on the Red Wall at a casino. I'm like, you're getting the frame, you're getting an actual piece. Most people, that is my most viral post ever.
Mm-hmm.
And the way how people went down on me and all that, like they were just like, and it got so bad that I actually started getting defenders, and then also to the way and I was trolling people with my responses. I still killed them with kindness when they replied. I got a lot of followers that way when I trolled them and killed them with kindness. That started following me and like, okay, this dude is cool, and you know he's not.
Where's this post? I want to see this image, man.
It's on my TikTok. I'm like, I go. It was an image I did. It was Miles Morales with Deku from My Hero.
Uh-huh.
I did it in a very urban street graffiti style on Bristol board for a Resort World Casino, which was up in their casino in 2019 on their Red Wall exhibit. It was 4 pieces from 4 street artists, amazing, which was Pete Vasquez, Michael Bernstein's, and McCall from he runs a great convention out in Long Island, McCall Supreme. We all got together, put our stuff up there, and they featured us for a whole month. And my art was more of the cartoony graffiti style, what I put up there. And I'm like, you know, people buy it from me. It's like, it's $100. You get the frame, you get this, and it includes the shipping. So you're just paying and helping with the cost and all that. And I go, I sell it because I feel like it would go better in someone else's house. Because again, and it was cool because I went to the exhibit to see it in person, and someone was there taking a picture of all the artwork. And when they saw me, they actually ran up to me and was excited, like, and told their wife, listen, I want to take a picture with the artist. The artist is right here. That was a feel good moment. And that was cool. And I was like, it was cool to see that I made his day. And he was just really excited, dude. And I was like, yeah, cool. Let's take a picture and all that. And also to another word of advice, don't let any fame get to your head, because be a student. Don't let anything get to your head, because when you let it get to your head, you're gonna, you know, you have to take a piece of that humble pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, like, just hearing what you're talking about, it definitely all words of wisdom. And, you know, I think our audience, I hope you're all taking notes here, because Sebastian basically mentioned things about just the business side of it. And the important thing that I took away from it, and Joe highlighted as well, is like, know your worth. And Joe said crickets. I don't believe that's crickets. It's just one of those type of things, is that you don't want to you know the time that you put into it. And a lot of people don't understand that, you know, when you putting your price out there, it's not just the time and effort that you put into that one piece. We're talking about years of dedication, blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into it. And that's the culmination of what it is. And when you just told me that $100 and we're talking about traditional art, large scale, framed, $100 that's like, to me,
that's nothing.
That's nothing. Yeah. And I think that's definitely something worth it. And I think that that's something that I think Sebastian, just given those like I think Rick said, spit and truth here, bring that knowledge there, because as artists in the independent community, that's what you want to be able to do. You gave some words of wisdom. Kill them with kindness. That's the thing about the indie community too, is that we're all here. It's not as big a world or community as you think it is. People know who you are. People, as you start getting a following, and you network, and something may not work out, but you can always forward it to like another artist maybe. But I think that's really cool, is that you definitely don't want to sell yourself short. You want to keep you what you think you're worth, and put it out there. So let's keep on going down here. I wanted to show some of your other art here, and this is what I was talking about, that anime manga influence as well. Tell us a little bit about this piece.
This was fun, and again, it started as a thumbnail, turned it into a print. We did an episode talking about people of color and anime characters, and I wanted to showcase 4 characters that I've always loved when I've seen an anime. Obviously Louis Freeman from Boondocks. This has one of the characters from Hunter x Hunter, Killer Bee right there with the white goatee from Naruto, and the female character on the far right from Bleach. I forget some of the names because sometimes it's hard to remember names. I forget names, but I love the characters and just seeing like their style. Like the character with the suit right there with the Afro puffs. She's from Hunter x Hunter, and she's a total bad arsh. She is. I love it when she first comes into the scene and all that, and she's just, and it's like, I wanted to really highlight these characters, and again, when I talk about Boondocks is so anime influenced, like in the style and everything. I used to love reading the comic strips, and just the funny overall feel that you get with Boondocks and everything. And again, like Louis Freeman is one of the characters that's kind of inspired some characters I create in terms of look, personality, and he's just an overall fun character to watch. Him and Riley, who again, I love them Boondocks. Killer Bee just reminds me.
Been out since I was in college. That was like 15, 20 years ago, and they were taking on big, heavy issues.
Yes.
In like a real badass way. Like, hey, this is where we're at. This is the point. It was in a way that was really relatable to like almost everybody. Like it wasn't in like if you don't think this way, you're terrible. Like it was just really solid conversations that had to be had. And that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, and I like that because again, you had Louis, who represented the more chilled back end way to approach stuff and all that. The more like, he's thinking, the more of like, we're going to have a conversation, but I'm going to spit facts. And then you have Riley, who was like, he turned it up 100% and questioned everything too and all that. And it was just like those dynamics that you saw. Like the writing behind that show was really, really great. And the fact that, people who missed out on that show, you missed out on a really great show, but you can still catch it now on HBO because HBO has it on their service.
Hashtag HBO Max.
I'm not getting paid by them. I wish I would. Pay me, HBO. I'll cut the check. Shout out Mayhem Mike for that one. But yeah, and then New York, that's actually Times Square and background and tones and everything. Because
of course, they miss back there, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, gotta throw down New York.
I love that. It's a statement in itself, and it's when people say, hey, in anime there's not much representation. No, there's tons of representation, in there as well. It's gotta, people just don't think that it's because it's become so I want to say mainstream, but it's like,
you talking about manga?
Yeah, it's like we see like diversity. I think manga is.
I don't think there's a lot of diversity in manga, but I mean that's like, it's sort of like where we were. I'd say almost like 60 years ago, 50 years ago.
I don't know. I have to say,
like they made content for the mass population, and they're going and getting,
It's very.
I think it's growing for sure, but it's not a lot. Like I think it could improve for sure.
It's growing in diversity in terms of storytelling, because you can find with manga and anime, you can find a story about people playing golf.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. But in terms of like, now we're seeing more diversity in terms of how characters look. I think that picked up in the last few years because you have a lot of creators that have gone out there and started working with the studios. Like like for example, Although I talked crap about it because I was upset with how it was advertised, was Yasuke on Netflix, which is about the first Black Samurai. It was advertised as a historical piece, but you didn't get what you saw advertised. You got something totally different when you saw the story. Now I still like the story, but I was just upset with it was like a bait and switch advertisement. And Cannon Busters, which was another good diverse one, which came out. So we're starting to see more, especially like when you go to Anime New York City, I'm starting to see more people pushing out their IPs and everything too, like at these anime conventions with showcasing more and more characters with diversity and everything. And I think a lot of studios picked that up out there as well and are starting to feel like for example, RZA now from Wu-Tang Clan, he does a lot of beats that you see crossover, not just in anime, but also too because what was it? It was the anime that he teamed up with Samuel Jackson. Not Sam.
I forgot. I totally forgot he did that. Like that was in like the back of my mind, but I never really accessed that information. Yeah, he was totally in all that shit.
Yeah.
It is.
Golly.
And you mentioned like Cannon Busters. I definitely LaShawn Thomas. I think that's what isn't it? The creator behind it. I have a little bit of I appreciate his contribution. The guy reading his story, he went overseas to learn the craft. I mean, he didn't just wasn't a student of like watching it here in the United States. He upped and moved and went there, and that shows some dedication. I have to say that I do have a little bit of that has to do a little bit of the crowdfunding things that went into it. I don't know if you heard about some of the crowdfunding that went on behind it. I did. I have strong feelings about that, but I do respect him as being a creator who went there, learned the craft, and then was able to successfully leverage it to like getting bought by Netflix. Is it Netflix? I can't remember what it is. But I think that creators, especially when you're an independent creators, remember where you come from. Remember the fans that helped you get where they're at. And I have to say that I'm being patient, and I'm just going to say like maybe those things will be addressed. But I have much respect for LaShawn. I hope, LaShawn, if you're watching this, remember us and stuff like that.
Remember who you are.
Remember the indie people. Remember the small people. But it's getting back to it. Sebastian, you are not small. We're going to keep on going down this list of stuff too. Because
all right. So as we go down, Sarah, we haven't gone on to look at any of the characters that we're going to draw today, but we're about ready to get there. So keep your eyes open, everybody, for the characters that we're drawing. Mm-hmm. And again, follow us on YouTube, Indie Comics Cast. And go to our art show on Facebook, and that's where you can post your images, and we'll make sure that they get popped up during the show. All right?
Yeah, definitely. So let's keep on rolling here. So I think you mentioned Luckyzilla earlier. You want? Yes. This is some of that stuff. Go ahead and talk a little bit about this.
Luckyzilla is a character that was created by my good buddy Rich Dresden, and I had the honor of designing the cover. That's the cover for issue 11. Mm-hmm. He was debuted in a character called Dead Jaw, and he saw one of my Juggernaut pieces I had done, and he goes, do you want to draw this character on this cover? He goes, and I was like, sure, dude, sure. So he hired me, did it, fell in love with it. And I have always a special place in my heart for Rich, because Rich is an awesome dude. Him, Stephanie, they're two totally awesome people. And Rich is definitely a one-man show who has built his company, Dresden Media. 20 issues. I got to work with him with writing issue 20. And that was for his 200 strip. A bunch of artists had gotten together. Because I was like, I have this idea. I want to get like different artists whose styles I like to each do a panel in this web comic strip for Lucky. And that was one of the panels I got, was Lucky getting beaten up by robots from his arch enemy named the Rough. So they're coming in there, coming after him. And I've worked with and I'm still working with stuff with Rich. We're supposed to be working on another storyline for his book, Luckyzilla. So I've been working with him with some character concept designs for possible future characters to be released in his world. And again, like I said, I have a special place in my heart for Rich. He is an awesome dude. I met him when he only had 5 issues to have 20, and he was doing a thing where he would go to different states to draw a comic strip. Uh-huh. And he was showing it like his whole tour of what states he was in, and he's starting to slow down now, the web comic strip, and is going to and he might stop and just go straight into publishing now. Right. But he has been publishing a strip consecutively. I mean, to have over close to 300 strips
That's amazing.
Yeah, he is a workhorse. He is a beast. He does he does like live drawings. He's a master from what I've seen with Illustrator. I love his style. His style is very, very kid friendly. He definitely likes to create stuff for kids, and he is like, when again, another tip I could give people when you're networking, learn how people market themselves. Rich markets himself like, oh, he'll be out there with frisbees for kids to play, little small frisbees with a picture of his character. He'll have like, you know, candy, like if it's okay with the parents, candy there's for the kids too. He'll have blank sheets of his character for kids to color by his table. He has plushies made where the kids can take pictures with the character. He just debuted his new plushie of a character named Paula. He addresses issues too, like, you know, to help educate people on being diverse, dealing with abuse, dealing with you know, the LGBTQ community. And before he tackles those subjects, he goes down deep dives and learns about the subjects that he's tackling. And he cares about everybody. He's even has a board game that he'll have out there, and he'll play with people at a convention, the board game, to show him how the board game works. Like, it doesn't matter what your age is, he'll play with you with the board game. Like, yeah, this is the Luckyzilla board game. He was like, you know, let's play a little bit so you can see how it works. And again, I learned some stuff from Rich. I've had him on the show. You know, I bless him and his I send a lot of love to him and his fiance, because they are just two awesome people, and I'm always lucky and fortunate to get to work with them, especially when it's stuff to help with Luckyzilla and everything.
Yeah, I gotta meet this guy now. It's like we're supposed to be talking about you, Sebastian, and you're like, it's so awesome. I like hearing these stories, because it isn't, when I'm learning about Sebastian, it isn't always about Sebastian. Sebastian talks about the roots of his success and like his influences, and he's given love to like the people that have made impacts in his life, and that's just, you know, makes me want to meet him as well and like talk about it. And this is all truth, you know.
That literally is my story though. It's like I've been like that for years, where it's like, you know, I try to have conversations with people, try to learn, be a master student, and just generally build relationships, because the Nerds was set up to build relationships. Again, like I said, and my co-host is my family, my wife runs the show. Everyone who I meet, again, I hold them near and dear to my heart. And you know, I love it when I see people creating stuff. That's me. I love it when I see people creating stuff, succeeding and all that. I mean, I like creating too, and we create stuff out there, but I love it when I'm, you know, getting to help other people. That's just generally me.
Yeah, that is awesome. And we're going to delve into another aspect of it, because I want to like get to the live drawing, because I'm really I want to complete telling your story. So we're gonna blaze through some of this stuff really quick. But I want to talk about this, because you're a D&D fiend. You love Dungeons and Dragons, and so I'm going to showcase just a little bit of some of your D&D character artwork, because I know that you do Is there a podcast that you do? D&D? Yeah, we do
a podcast through and beyond. I play a character in the podcast. We started in February 2020. That's Galahad. That's Tone's character. And that's Gallalorio, Larissa's character. These are concepts I did of the characters, because we were gonna do some more fun stuff. Me, Yun, Joe, a lot of us have worked out different concepts for the characters, and this was just my turnaround. So whenever I wanted to draw the character, I have a concept for her. We have like over 30 plus episodes. It's been fun doing this. And it's also been a great creative tool, because you really have to create a character from scratch, not just by look, but by personality, by background. And we've done a lot of that and taken it into a lot of our character building. That's why some of my projects have been pushed a little back, because I want to focus on the character building, the lore. And we've been doing a lot of that. We have tons of content recorded that we're dropping for the podcast. We even have multiple campaigns to expand on this world. So we've done a lot of world building as a company behind the scenes in D&D's scene, and a lot of designs that we've posted of the various concept characters. I have a whole folder of tons of concepts that are going to be dropped when certain characters get introduced, and we keep it fresh for people that way. But it was fun doing these turnarounds. This was also keeping in mind if we wanted to do like an animation sheet of animating the characters, because we've been playing with that. And it's just fun to give my own spin on some of the stuff. And you can definitely see the style showcase from everybody who works there. like again, I really wanted to draw Galahad with this armor. I was researching armor because he is the paladin of the group, so he's like the knight and everything. It was very, very fun to get this design of the character. He's Goliath, so he's the tallest member of the bunch, and so it was just fun to just create that concept. And then Galorio, who's the an elf. Again, it was fun to design this character. I gave her like an armor on the far right, but then I was like, let me give her something that looks more like, you know, for like what a forest elf would wear. And it was like giving her like stuff that looked like more like nature and everything. I haven't done the color layouts for these yet, but these were just the concepts sketched out, having them ready. So I have to turn around. So whenever I drew the characters, they were ready to go.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And we're actually going to revisit some of these concepts because we didn't reveal his. We talked about Tone and Law's characters here, but we're going to reveal Sebastian's character, and that's actually going to be a little bit of a hint. That's going to be one of our live drawings. But we're going to zoom really quick here because we are approaching our first. We want to get into the live drawing, so I'm going to.
I know I talk too much. I'm sorry, Jar.
No. I could listen to this but I just know that we want to. I know that we've already got some of our audience. They love the live drawing part of it, and we like.
Oh yeah.
I love seeing things come from scratch, you know, like seeing the blank canvas.
I'm excited about that too.
Yeah, we're gonna, and that'll give you some more opportunity to talk about some of the richness of the world building behind these characters. But let me go through this part real quickly right now because I think that I want to show this part of it because this is going to be like version 1.0, and I'm going to talk about how 2.0 is coming around, and that is Dead Planet. Now, this was something that I used in the banner art, and I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
like Steve Miller did the art, this finished artwork, but it was art directed by Sebastian. And I just want to talk about Dead Planet a little bit. It's going to be remastered. It's going to be redone. This was Sebastian's first foray. Jumped head first, and he said, "You know what? I want to
deep dived.
I just want to do a comic." And he just said, and I love that he did the. I'm a big fan also of Jake Parker, and it's like finished, not perfect. He Sebastian is as recognized, you know, and that's the thing about your evolution as an artist. You recognize what you've done in the past, and you say, hey, you know, if I have the opportunity, I can kind of revisit it because you're the creator. You can go back and you can kind of like do it. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to, you know, rifle through some of the stuff. You just talk a little bit about Dead Planet, and we're going to, you know, you can talk more about it actually when you draw one of your other characters, but just give an overall view of what Dead Planet is.
Sure. So Dead Planet is a story about a mad scientist experiment that goes wrong. Literally, that is the story. It was fun to do. It was my love letter to horror movies such as The Thing and Aliens because it was very sci-fi inspired. Originally, the story was named Arctic. Then I had changed the name to Red Planet because there was a talked about a one-way mission to Mars. I'm not sure if that's still going on. And I was like, damn, this company could do whatever they want to people if they leave Earth and go to Mars. And that was always, and then Dead Planet was the name that came out because I wanted something scarier than just calling it Red Planet. I was like, let's go with Dead Planet. This just sounds dope. And I again, finished not perfect. This story is actually a prequel to a bigger story that I was writing at the time for this, and this just took a life of its own. I was like, I want to draw this. This story sounds better than what I originally came up with. And it was just fun. I even changed the main character. His name was Tito there. It's no longer Tito. And the time too, I wanted to feature a world where I was doing a world of diverse characters and everything. Create this sci-fi company. The look, I wanted that gray. As you can see, the monster. That's the final scene in the book right there. Was the monster. Yes, I am a fan of Resident Evil. I tortured myself as a kid playing Resident Evil at night. The lights off.
Resident Evil 5 is where it's at. Just
yeah, that's right. That's right.
But this right here, yeah, again, as you can see, that's very heavily Thing inspired right there.
Alien too. Yeah, I can see.
And this was all done. So this comic was all done traditionally, scanned, inked in Photoshop with a bamboo.
Yeah,
this was before I had
the bamboo is
tablet.
the one. If you guys don't know, it's the separate from the computer, so you're not drawing directly on anything. You're looking at the computer while you're drawing.
It's
that
not,
was the most bizarre thing. I hated doing that.
It's not even a Syntec, which is like has more of the pressure sensitivity, so I couldn't even get the pressure sensitive. So I'm like, yeah, it was fun to do.
I feel like it's perfect. Number one, you show that just get after it. Just get it done.
Do it.
Put it on paper. Because if you're, 20 years will go by and be like, you'll go through 8 different stories that you never actioned.
Yes.
And 2, you may not be ready to do a comic yet, but guess what? You just improved yourself by doing the effing comic. So, like, don't be on the sidelines waiting for it to your story or your art skills to be perfect, because then you'll never create anything.
Exactly.
I mean, I have an unreleased comic called Lords of New York that I actually released on my Patreon, and I just left it there because I'm like, don't think I'm going to visit this story. But I was like, I recycled the characters, and it was fun. Again, most of the comics I've done been a learning experience to keep improving. And like even this, I took it to Eric Larson. He gave me advice on it. I went to Buzz, who did Vampirella. He gave me advice on focusing on shading and everything. And it was about being a student and like, oh, people didn't like it, I'm gonna cry. And like, no, it was about being a student. Like, okay, how can I improve this? How can I get better? Because I want to be a student of my craft.
When did you draw this one? When did you create this one, Sebastian?
This was released in 2016.
So yeah, I've already seen your artwork has evolved leaps and bounds in terms of.
I feel like we've all been there when we just started doing digital, and we were like, because I remember when I was going to art school, my digital art was almost identical to this, as far as like how I did the lines and how I did the shading, and you just slowly progress and slowly build, and this almost looks like it could have been my work when I was doing it back in the day. So I'm like, oh my god, I remember my stuff looking just like this. I could pull up by the end of the show. I could pull up my old stuff, and you'd be like, "Yep, that's
it's
the same boat."
Yeah,
you gotta continue to improve, and you learn the different tricks that come with like, and that's why I said I've started focusing more on shape and form, and just let it take from there. Like I had the honor last year of hosting Sammy Castillo and watching her create a piece, and I was like, I picked up something with what she was doing, and that's why I was like, now it's like I don't focus on it being too perfect. I want to pick up the shape of the form and still give that artistic feel. And here at the time, I think I was focusing too much on it being perfect, and it just, so I was my own enemy. Which again, I was like, I gotta make this look good. I gotta make this look perfect. And then
I love that you didn't shy away from expressions.
I know,
like the expressions may not be right as far as like structure as you grow, but like a lot of people, what they'll do is they just won't do any expressions at all. And when I say a lot of people, I mean me. So it's like, oh, I don't want to open the mouth, or I don't want to do too much in the eyes because I don't think it's right. But if you don't do it, then you can't get better. Don't avoid the stuff that's hard is what I'm saying. I love it. I just love this stuff.
I always have to, like, that's one of the things Larson said. He was like, he goes, I commend you for drawing scenes that that would have been tough from like, and it was just taking a risk. That's the other thing. So people take a risk, and you're saying you're the cameraman, you're directing your movie, direct it with how you want to see it. Don't be afraid. If it doesn't look right in the end, that's fine. You're gonna learn. Because like that's the beautiful thing about drawing. Like it's not you're trying to create that concept of perfect anatomy, perfect visuals, but it's like you just put down there what you want to see in your head. You get it there and have it as a scene that tells your story. Like I drew this scene 3 times by hand, 3 times before that was the 3rd attempt, and that's how I liked where the cameras were being shot from.
Yeah, and you're going to be doing a 4th time when you do the remaster, which. Can we reveal what the name of the remaster is going to be called? I don't know if you want.
I'll drop that bomb. It's going to be called Pandora's Complex.
Yes, that's I like Dead Planet, but Pandora's Complex has it actually makes me think of so much more. It's definitely more intriguing, and I'm going to be interested into seeing what Sebastian brings with version 2.0, because he's overhauling the entire book.
Yeah, I even have a second pair of eyes helping me, which is Alex Apunzi's from Wayward Raven, because I've really been refining, working hard in the story, introducing more characters, getting deeper into these characters, making them like, I wanted to build more in this world's lore and more of like what people are going to expect and see, especially if we decide we want to take a route and continue to build in this world and create like a playground for people to join. So it's been, again, it's been fun.
And you've created such a great community around you that I'm sure there's plenty of artists and writers and colorists and everything else that would love to throw down and support. So
Yeah.
That's part of the game, building such a
Undoubtedly.
great community around you that trust that, you have good intentions. You're not trying to take people to, the cheap yard.
Yeah,
Um, and you have a dream. Other people believe in you. I love the idea of you revisiting this and taking it on. This is going to be really good stuff.
Yeah, I think that actually shows too that it's a passion project. You started with this, and the story is still there. You talked about a prelude, and being able to go back and refine it. So I really like that. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with Pandora's Complex. Like I said, I'm going to rifle through this last few things.
All right. Well, before you go to the next thing, Sarah's curious about the 2.0. Are you going to go colors with it?
That still hasn't been decided, because like if I'm gonna go colors, I want the colors to matter in the book, because the first book, I went with monochrome to give that over, and the only thing that was in color, as you saw, was the creature, was the scenes of blood, because I wanted that to pop out. So if I do go the route with fully coloring the book, I want the colors to matter. I don't want it to just be a book that I go on a bright style and all that. And when we get to the color phase, I might either test out colors that I'm going to draw, or if I can't get the colors right, I know a few people who already I want to approach, especially to help them get their work out there in terms of like what they do with colors, and really give them an idea of what I want with the
if
coloring.
you go the Sin City route, then you would be doing what you did the last time, which was there are specific colors that are in the comics, so you wouldn't be really drastically changing the initial 0.1 concept.
Yeah, because it's like because I wanted to get that sense of dread. Like for example, if I'm going to do it colors, like the scenes that are not dreadful, that talk about the world, maybe I might go them in bright colors to give this sense of like, okay, this thing is light and all that. But I've seen people do it in books where and inspired by them, where they'll change the colors all of a sudden and it's like it just changes the overall feeling. I'm always focused on how colors can help the scene, how can certain way the body is moved in the scene, and how expressions again carry the scene. Because like if I could get that form, that shape that's there, that's going to carry it, the expression has to kill it. It has to be like you see it there. Like right here, it was just like this character, she has dead expression in her face because it's generally she doesn't care what's going on, and like I want to capture that again. I want to capture that sense of dread that like takes people there. And that's why I told people too, like if you're going to study about something of character development in the story, definitely watch John Carpenter's The Thing. It is definitely a good movie to study on how it's a character drama and doesn't really focus on the creature. It was all the paranoia that they sold there. Exactly. And that's what I want to go for.
Yeah. And another thing is like Stephen King's The Mist, I believe.
Yeah.
You see and even like The Walking Dead, The Mist, you don't even see who the creatures are or whatever, but it's not important about the creatures. It's the paranoia. It's how the effective storytelling, seeing how the characters break down, how the society, cultural norms get thrown out the window and people just start turning in on themselves. And I think I'm seeing that here. And I like when I saw the red, I was like, oh, he's like going all Schindler's List. He's like getting Steven Spielberg on this thing. He's like, and then Joe mentioned Sin City. I go, yeah, that would have been better to say Sin City. But I think that was really cool to see all that stuff. But we mentioned a little bit about your relationship with Inbion and how Eric Hutchison, you got your relationship with him. That's how I met you. I met you both at the same time. This was a strip that you guys did together, a little 2-page story. And I'm familiar with the deadline. I'm being a graphic designer, art director. I know what the deadline is. It definitely looms over my head. But it was just neat to see, read this thing. You have 2 artists that are competing, and who can meet the deadline. And then it's like, bam! you get literally eaten by your work or the table there. So
meet your deadlines.
Yeah, and then you're dead. Yeah, and I thought that was really cool. I didn't know Eric was also a very talented artist in himself. I mean, he's definitely really business oriented, a cool cat. And then to see him actually do these really deep blacks and lines, very cool. Eric doing that.
Yeah, it was a surprise to see the inks because again I said it was supposed to be for Inbion in 2017 for October, something like quick horror story. I whipped that up, sent it to him just to get feedback, like what do you think of the story. He sends it back, goes, what do you think of my inks? I was like, dude, this is phenomenal. It's like, yeah, we're posting. He's like, dude, I love the story. I was like,
Eric's a great guy, and you got to check
he
out
is.
Beyond too. It's like the virtual cons, being able to see artists, and then we have these open IPs now that are public domain now, and I enjoyed your take on it. And I know this horror kick, I have not really done too much horror, but I have to tell you, when we talk about expression, you definitely have room for some really cool expressions here. So we have this is from Wizard of Oz, I guess. This is the Scarecrow with
the Scarecrow getting his brains.
Yes.
Dorothy is helping him out to get his brains.
Yes, helping him out. Yes.
Yeah, we were going through again another horror kick in Beyond Studios because again, Eric. Again, I thank Eric for everything. He's a great mentor. I love him, his family. Like I said, I met him when it was just him at the table. Now it's grown on to this big family of creators, helping creators. And I'm sorry, I do a shameless plug. Our virtual convention is August 28th, 29th. We're looking to do it again for people to have fun and learn. You can use code Get Nerdy with it to get discounts on VIP tickets, which is going to have some dope stuff and upgraded boosts. But the show is free for everyone to attend and for every creator to participate. But again, use code Get Nerdy with it to get discounts on upgraded VIP packages and upgraded vendor boosts that we're creating. But this was fun because we were doing this whole nightmare kick. This was an inspired idea. We were looking to do something called Nightmares on Oz, and I did the Scarecrow again, and it was just fun to do because I was like, it always intrigued me. Let me do the Scarecrow. We're looking for Dorothy's brain. Like he needs his brain. He's gonna go get her, and it's like and then adding the part with the head and all that is just like this expression of terror I wanted to capture, and then like defocus the background and more of like focus it so that this way they pop. The background is just like something secondary, and that's what I want. And I didn't make it very gory because I didn't want. I just wanted to just capture that sense of joy because I could have went the route of gore, but I was just like, no, this is better. It's colorful. Yeah, and I kept the colorful colors too because I was just like, it's supposed to be something more. I'm like, no, but he's tearing her head off.
Totally nailed it. And then another here we have a take on Alice in Wonderland. I love this, and I was like even just thinking is like, oh, this looks like Bosk from Empire Strikes Back if he was the Mad Hatter, and I just like how this and it's also mixing it up a little bit. You kind of put an ethnic twist on, with these characters. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Disney or anybody else who done an Alice can't come after me. I did my version of Alice. She will be in the Bronx. She is from the Bronx. Don't mess with a young Latin woman from the Bronx because they will tell you, they'll set you straight. And she has her knife ready to go because she's ready to go tear a new hole in this dark world with her Shadow Cheshire Cat and her Goblin Slayer inspired Mad Hatter right there. As you can see, the Cheshire Cat, he is eating one of the soldiers for the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah. Yes, I get it. Yeah, and very cool stuff. I love these interpretations. And here, I looked at this. This was a obvious homage to the Perez crisis with Superman and Supergirl, and you've mixed it up with Uncle Sam and Lady Liberty here. Just nice, powerful statement, here with this, and just loving your art. And I think that now we're approaching. We just hit our 1 hour mark, so I think we need to get into our live drawing. But I'm just going to go.
I feel like that one should be on a T-shirt though, or a jacket or something.
Yeah,
so
it is. I put it
right down the zipper.
I've put it up on sites for people to purchase. I gotta definitely get the sites up. Like I believe I put out Society 6, so people can actually get it as different frames and all that. I gotta see if I did have it on T Republic. I don't believe I have a T Republic account.
I feel like that one. This one specifically would look. On a really clean black shirt, like it would really pop.
It was, and this was definitely one of my fun pieces to do. This was actually part of a class project. We were told to create a political piece, and I just wanted to showcase, as divided we fall, and it's Uncle Sam holding Lady Liberty up, and it's just it's just something that and it was paying homage to George Perez. And true story, he was at a con that I was at, was this New Jersey Comic Con. It was a New Jersey East Coast Comic Con. And he was there and actually got one of the prints of this signed. by him.
Awesome.
He was like, "Oh, this is a good take on it," and it's signed, and I have that copy for me, my personal library, just to hang up because I'm like,
that's awesome.
This was dope.
Getting some love from the pros there. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Here we go, and then we mentioned Mr. Stupendous with Ari, A.A. Rubin, aka A.A. Rubin. This was a project that I was very fortunate to be able to do the villain concept design.
Yeah, man, that was dope.
To do the actual pages, but that's where Sebastian, the hero that he is, he ended up doing my page for it, and we get to see some more sequential work. And you can even see here the evolution in Sebastian's style. We saw the Dead Planet 1.0, and you could see like from here just the next step in Sebastian's artwork. So you want to talk a little bit about this?
Absolutely. So this is for Mr. Stupendous. That's going to come out in the second anthology for Comic Book School. Takes on the awesome Dr. Wen, which was designed again by Gerald, which again, awesome design, bro. The concept is that we're going through different time periods. One of the time periods I got to tackle was dystopian anime, and I had to go for an anime feel in a dystopian future. So as you can see, there's a little bit of the colors of showing for the desert. So I kept a lot of the colors like muted and plain, but I did the shading on them and did some of the line shading. But I wanted to capture that overall anime feeling that you would get, such as the speed lines. I got to design the portal effects, which was fun to do and throw that in there. And then I really was inspired by Fist of the North Star. So some of the concepts I borrowed from Fist of the North Star, Mad Max.
Yes.
Went together, put the characters together. That's why you see Dr. Wen as toys, is because like when I thought of that dystopian 80s anime, that's what I just saw Troa, who was the main villain in Fist of the North Star. I was like, I gotta do Dr. Wen like that.
Yeah, I can definitely.
No, Stupendous is a different group of guys. This is for a comic called Mr. Stupendous. It's going to be in the Comic Book School anthology. It's actually the first issue is in Comic Book School's first anthology, which you could go comicbookschool.com to download for free. Amazing anthology. And I'm happy I got to work again with A.A. Rubin for the first time on his book. I got to do 3 pages. So it was this page, the Flash page, and the Rob Liefeld page, which I had fun doing. I don't want to spoil too much about the Rob Liefeld page, but I'm just going to let you know there are a lot of pouches in it.
pouches galore, and it'll be nice to see that tribute to Rob Liefeld, because we all love his artwork, right? I mean, the guy definitely made an impact on in the 90s, and he's still relevant today. So these last 2 things, this is where we're going to get into our live drawing. So this was a original character that's going to be in the D&D universe IP that Sebastian's going to be doing. Her backstory, not real. Her backstory. Anyway, little Freudian slip there. Her story is still in development, but we were going to definitely hear a little bit more about this a little later on. So that's something that we're going to look for the future from there. But let's go ahead and get into our first live.
Good job, Daryl.
Yeah. So here we go.
Super pro.
Yeah. So, anyway, here we go.
It's a big backstory, though.
I'm going to. That's probably a good reason for me to stop talking now. I'm going to hand the mic over to Joe. And
I'm glad she threw you off. There you go. That's because that's her character.
It threw me off. So here we go. We're going to go into our first live drawing, and this is a part of the Dead Planet Pandora Complex 2.0. This is the 2.0 Dead Planet universe. This is Dr. Rachel. We had seen her in some of the panels, but I think that what Sebastian had told me, that the Dead Planet 2.0 Pandora Complex, it's going to be not only the evolution in style, but character development or character design. Sebastian mentioned that no one's just wearing t-shirt and jeans anymore. They have uniforms, they have costumes, and they have meaning behind it. So as we go into the live drawing part of it, Sebastian and Joe are going to talk a little bit about it. You can definitely say like, what is the meaning behind her new look? But I'm going to take a back seat. I keep on saying back for some reason. It's still on my brain right here. I'm going to let Joe go from there while I set up my art cam, and let's do our first live drawing cam. So those of our guests that are online and who want to draw along with us, do a screen capture of this right now. This is Dr. Rachel. We're going to hear about it as we draw and talk. And we look forward to like you participating. And if you do, go into the comments field, let us know that you're drawing along, and then post to our sister page, which is the art show. And Joe will be happy to pull that up and share that with everybody. And Joe's going to be the timekeeper. He's going to be the main interviewer, and I'm going to shut up because I still got back on my mind right now. So let me set my art cam. Joe, you let us know when to start. All right, there you go.
Well, you already started, so let's get to work. You got 15 minutes. You should already been set up there, Super Pro.
Okay.
You need to backtrack and be ready to go.
Okay.
So we're going.
We're going.
Yeah, we're going now. Okay. So this is the character, guys. Keep a look at. Now, give us a little bit more about her, Sebastian.
Well, that is Dr. Rachel. She is one of the many doctors for the company that runs so in the world of Dead Planet. So she runs she's one of the lead scientists on a project on the base that you're going to be visiting out there. She is a small character, about under 5 feet. And I wanted to give her like the kind of cutesy look, but not and give her like the pigtails. So she has like this like, you know, younger look, but she's actually older than what she seems. She can be a little bit of a jerk, but she's a little bit warm. She is a mother, which people will learn in the comics. And she just was an overall fun character design. When I originally did the design for the character, I had designed her to just have t-shirt jeans. She looked like she was like, you know, just regular t-shirt and jeans. So this is been a fun way to redesign the character with trying to make a futuristic type outfit for her. Okay. And pretty much going from there with you know, like the earring that she has there, it's actually a piece that gets connected to a computer. Her she has like little like rings that allow to pull up like digital computers like virtually in front of her, so you will see that represented.
I was gonna ask about the rings. That's good. Yeah.
The outfit, it definitely when I get the colors, like whenever I do the color image, definitely has a little bit of neon glows to it to kind of again give that futuristic feel for the character and all that. So again, it was just fun just redesigning her from scratch. The hair was definitely a work in progress. I had some feedback from friends about the hair to develop her and everything. I know some people was like she again, it's just been fun to flesh out her character, and I'm getting to flesh her out a little bit more with Alex from Wayward Raven. And again, Rachel has always been a character close to my heart. I've wanted to also showcase that she is a powerful woman. She's nowhere near like a weak woman, and it's going to depend, and she doesn't depend on the main character in the series, the other main character who used to be named Tito. I'm in the process of changing his name to, you know, fit the character better, because Tito could be like a nice nickname for him, because I didn't like, you know, again with the character, I wanted to flesh him out more in his backstory. So they've just been fun to do and everything, man. And again, it's been fun to draw her plenty of different times, because like she's just a fun character I just like to draw, because she's also a little bit mischievous in her own way. And she's she's a fun, like she's just a fun, also a little bit of a free spirit herself when you get to know her a little bit more, but when she's like, you know, getting to meet people and all that, she's a little bit tough. And again, she's not anywhere a weak character.
Yeah, so I mean that's one of the things I think. It's first off, be careful with your mic. You're going in and out a little bit. I think as you turn, you're getting the audio.
Do you got me now?
Yeah, you're good now. You were fine before, it's just a little low. I love the idea that, you know, while you're creating this character, you're looking for how is her character functional, how is her character interesting looking, the overall aesthetics. You're talking with your battles about her hair. These are all very important things. Making sure, you know, that the reader can be attracted to wanting to know about the character. But also a big focus is, how do you make her that balance between, you know, she doesn't need somebody else, she's capable, versus, you know, are you going to pigeonhole her as like a victim or somebody has to get saved? So it's always a good balance there. Always trying to find a way to do that the right way. So commend that, man. And I think just looking at the character, I could see that balance that she's ready to throw down if necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I went from the backgrounds to where I want the character, because originally, her last name was Patel. I changed that, made her more smack, because I changed like a lot of my characters, their backgrounds and all that too, from what when I was initially creating it. So she is Hispanic, now, and I really wanted to write a strong Hispanic female character, in that term. So, and that's a tribute to, again, just wanting to make her feel like an organic character. Like if you were to meet this person, she's she's going to be a real person. You're going to feel her pain, you're going to feel her story, you're going to, I want people to love the character more than the look. I want them to fall in love with like her personality and all that, and it was just fun fleshing her out. Like even like, even like small designs, like to her tie, like how it's done, she has like, I wanted to capture a sexy look, but at the same time still reserved and covered and all that, where it's like, okay, she doesn't have the boob window or anything like that, she doesn't have like, she has like leggings and everything, she wears the skirt, but she has stuff on. But it was like, again, it's like she's sexy, sophisticated, smart, tough, and she it's been, like I said, it's, I can't talk much more about the character as I
Right.
want to reveal more about her, but because it's just, again, it's just been fun fleshing out how I want to build her character to me. And that's when I went to Alex. I'm like, listen, can you look at something for me for the character? And it just, again, it takes that extra pair of eyes where he was like, I have a criticism with this, criticism with that, but I like this idea. He's like, let's focus on this, let's explain that. And it's just been, and that's why I wanted to help with fleshing the character, because I want this to be I want her to be a strong character for readers to look at, readers to love, and just overall like make her feel more organic. And that's the other thing. It's like, like if you have a trusted group of people you work with, don't hesitate to ask them, take a look at your work and all that, to help you with coming out with, because they might see something that you're not.
Right. Let me see here. What am I trying to do here? What am I trying to do here? I don't remember. I'm watching you guys work. It's just fun to see you guys kind of how you go about it. Let me see. Skadoosh. I don't want to look at me. Let's not do that. Why am I still looking at me? Boom. There we go. Almost like I know how to work this StreamYard deal. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm watching you guys work. I love seeing the different styles. And it's fun to see your clear influence, some of your clear influences. And what was the reason why you went with a Hispanic character? Is there anything specifically that you can let us know about the story? Maybe some hints on why you went that route?
I wanted to see more diverse characters in comics, and I've always been an advocate of that, of telling stories of just of diversity and everything. And I initially, when I wasn't looking to do characters, I was just looking to tell stories. I didn't think about drawing characters that were going to be of diverse backgrounds. But then I took a business course at Weibo, which if you're in the New York area, I recommend any artists to definitely look them up. That's WIBO. It's a class that's taught by entrepreneurs, and I was given that, and I saw a lot of not just people of color who own their businesses who were teaching these classes or looking to it, but it was a lot of strong women that were business owners, and I was inspired by that. And I was like, I want to write a strong character with a diverse background who was a person of color, because I was inspired by these women.
Yeah.
And I changed it from being Hispanic because I didn't want to be that person where it's like, okay, originally her name was Dr. Patel, but I don't know anything about being Indian and all that. So, but I do know I have a Spanish background, because I am Puerto Rican. Let me take some of what I know from growing up, and that's when I kind of switched it to like, okay, I want to make the character a Hispanic character.
Which are you going to specify what kind of Hispanic she is, or is it just going to be sort of loose
No, I,
to
I,
be.
because growing up, again, like I said, it's Puerto Rican, Dominican, all that. To be,
Mhm.
and as I had that conversation with Gerald, I believe like we are all mixed breed. We come from various different backgrounds. That's the one thing I love about the various different Spanish cultures. Like when you saw in the
Yeah,
Heights, it was various different Hispanic cultures that are represented in the Heights. A lot of people go, well, it's not the mix. Like, no, it's you got your variety of Mexicans, you got your variety of Hondurans, you got Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. We are all I see it as we are all one people in terms of being Hispanic because we all have great things that we bring to the table. And I say it's like food. We get together with food. Food is always a great way for cultures to get together because you know what? When it's just one dish that's bland, you start bringing all those cultures in together, start bringing all
Mhm.
the different foods. Then you have the cookout, which is pretty awesome, man. And that's how I
Oh yeah,
always
it's
present.
epic.
I'm a man who loves to like analyze. I don't
Yeah, I just
know.
want to. I wanted to specify on that. I was just curious. I totally dig it, but yeah, there was. It is even in the specifically in the Spanish culture. There's so many. We are so
Yeah,
diverse. I mean, it's crazy how different a Spaniard is than a Puerto Rican or a Mexican. But then we all have sort of this connecting tissue of pride. That's pretty cool, and I'd love to see more of that. Whenever I see, like we were talking about in the pre-show, talking about. Well, let me stop myself. We got about 8 minutes, guys.
8 minutes.
So in the pre-show, we were talking about Ghost Rider.
yeah.
Like I love the new Ghost Rider concept. I'm pretty sure he's Puerto Rican.
I think
Um,
he's yeah. I think he's Mexican.
you think he's Mexico?
Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
think
you're. I know in the show, I think they went. I think he's Mexican, but I can't remember in the comic if he's Puerto Rican or Mexican. We got obviously Miles, and I love what they did with Limelight. She's killer.
I
Um, these so a lot of good Hispanic characters that, you know, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, what would be very frustrating is you'd get a Hispanic character in a show or something, and their only line, all of their lines had to end with like SA or something like that. And I was
yeah.
just like, man, that doesn't make the character Hispanic if you just make them say SA at the end of a sentence.
Well, that's why I love New York Undercover because you had strong Hispanic characters on there who were cops.
Yeah.
They weren't just the gangster number one, thug number one, and all that. They
Yeah.
were police officers working undercover, and that was like that it was nice to see that portrayal where we're not just being portrayed as um you know as villains anymore or anything like that. And even
Yeah.
so, like again, like with Miles Morales to me is the perfect character that explains a blended family. He's
Hmm.
half black, half Hispanic, which you see that in a lot of Hispanic cultures was that we're a very like you go to Puerto Rico, you see every ethnicity that is there in Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and all that because we all are like the shade of a rainbow.
Hmm.
We come in various different, like you go to a Puerto Rican cookout and you see everyone there, like for example my dad, everyone thinks he's Italian.
Yeah.
And then when people see me, they go, dude, I've been stopped where people are like, dude, are you from like Pakistan? Are you from Egypt? I'm like, no, I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And it just shows like, and that goes for every culture. We're all very diverse. Like,
I mean, you get in the family itself. Like my brother is more like you, and then I'm white. I'm like white bread. It's crazy. It's fun. I think Puerto Ricans are like the best example, but I think the stereotype of like even what a Mexican person would look like. There's so many different. There's such a array of colors in
yeah,
the Mexican family as well. Like it's not like everybody looks exactly the same. I think that's where we're kind of going with as far as like educating people through entertainment, through what you're doing, giving people a chance to see that not all Mexicans look like the 1986 Mexican gangbanger on freaking TV shows. Like
no.
we all are different. So I just find it interesting. I love that we're seeing more of it, but we're also seeing a lot of it in the indie scene, like you and others that are doing it in such a a beautiful and just honest, kind of passionate way, you know.
Yeah.
So
And
huge.
it was like not labeling her Puerto Rican, not labeling her Dominican. I was labeling her as being Hispanic so that everybody part of the Hispanic culture can relate to her, can be like, you know what, she represents me on there, because I think that that is something that's important. It's like, you know, because when I start to label her, I was like, well, she's gonna be Puerto Rican. I'm like, listen, the story takes place in the future. We're all gonna be fucking mixed. I mean, excuse my French. We're all gonna be mixed anyway, man. It's the future. We're all going to take the best parts of our cultures and leave out the bad, and eliminate the bad, and focus on building our cultures up and on it. And I have
Exactly.
fun talking
Exactly.
and learning from different people, like and of different like you know, talking with Jarrell. Jarrell is Filipino background, and it's funny because it's like learning more and more about Filipinos. It's like, yeah, we're very also close to Filipinos too, because like, you know, like in terms of times of last names and food, and that's where I go. Cultures always unite over food. Food is always that, like, we're at the table. No one's going to fight with eating food and bringing food to the table. We are, and that's why I feel the world is one big melting pot, and we're all just the seasoning and the ingredients trying to make this a better world.
I know that you were going for like a deep thing here that we can all like be inspired by, but all that inspired me to do is go eat because I have not eaten yet.
Yeah, I'm
So
gonna keep
I am
talking about
super
food.
hungry right
I
now.
am such a food bro. Oh man, don't mess with us. Bring out that penil.
Yeah,
How much
I
time
love
do
it.
we have? Anyway, do we have Joe?
What's up? We 3 minutes.
3
So
minutes.
if you guys are drawing out there in the ether, make sure that you're taking a picture of it. I'll give you guys one last look here. This is the character design. If you guys need a few minutes to just do some finishing touches, and then 3, 2, 1. That's what you got to see. All right. Now again, this is our art show on Facebook. It's our group there. Go ahead and just post it directly on that Facebook group, and we will share it right now when we hit the bell.
Yeah, but
We'll highlight Gerald's just for a second. I don't want everyone to see everything he's doing. He's almost done. Looking good. Got the gun in there. Looking sharp.
Actually, I don't know. Would she have a gun? I just added a gun in there, Sebastian. Is she
Gangster.
I don't know. I just wanted to have it.
Showcase a gangster, man. She
Okay.
She know how to mess with a gun.
Okay.
She got her gun license. I just have overall fun with trying to do this character and different things and all that, and it's been fun building the world of Dead Planet, because it's essentially I'm building a future world, and getting and it's like when you're building stuff in for like a future setting, the sky is the limit versus when you're trying to build a setting within a present day or a period piece. And I was just like, I want to play with the future. I want to. I love the whole I was a big fan of Star Trek and stuff like that. Saw Star Wars, as you guys saw with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I got this.
All right, everybody. I'm not showing their work because I want to be surprised when we get the finished one for everybody. So we have 1 minute left.
1 minute.
1 minute, 60 seconds. Get those final finishing touches in there, and then we'll show it off. As of right now, I'm not seeing anybody on Art Show, so make sure you guys are commenting. Let us know it's on there. But as of right now, I haven't seen anybody's work, so we'll show off Gerald and Sebastian's work here in a second, and then we'll go into the super difficult
co-host
challenge.
You want
everybody
you're trying to set us up.
Talking about what they look like. Sarah looks like an Italian, which I saw. She posted something on Facebook the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, it looks kind of Italian. And then let's see here, Molly. She says I look French. There you go.
French. That's a new one.
Yeah, I mean, again, we are the seasonings of the world, us Hispanics.
Yeah. I like your food comparison. Definitely.
Well, almost
if
everybody.
If there's anything everybody's going to learn about this is that they're going to be hungry after this.
Yeah, I'm about ready to turn my screen off, say I have technical difficulties, and go make some eggs. I need some food. All right. So time's up.
Time is
It
up.
is 1 It is 11:48 my time.
All right, let's see what Sebastian did. I'm excited to see it.
I just sketched.
All right.
Have fun.
All right, so we've got. Here we go.
We're starting to anchor now.
All right, so I'm going to share. I'm going to share a screen. I got you, Sarah. I got you guys. All right. So check this out.
Ooh, that's sick. I like that.
Victor killed it. Look at that. Her hands here, fantastic.
Yeah.
Movement in the tie.
Just want to let you know, Sebastian, Victor is coming at you from the Philippines. It's like 2:49 in the morning, and he decided to like watch you. So, Victor, thanks for being here. It's always nice to see our fans from on the other side of the planet. Killing it.
Definitely. That's awesome, bro.
Oh, go ahead, man. Sorry.
No, that Victor, definitely that. She looks dope, bro. I like it, man. Thank you. Honored.
I love that you got her eyes like in his style. I think that's pretty interesting to get that look right. And then Sarah killed it here.
That's awesome, Sarah.
Sarah's probably gonna drop some watercolors on this later on. She's.
Ooh, I gotta see that. Definitely gotta tag.
Oh, her watercolors are really impressive. Really impressive work. I saw her work the other day, and I was just like, "What? Just do that all the time." Like that's like how when you see people that are trying to do a lot of different things, and you're like, "No, you're good. But then you see the thing that just like it like speaks from their soul. You know what I mean? Like that's her watercolors, man.
And she's
I tag me. I want to see what the watercolors look like because again, I'm a big fan when people do watercolors too, man. Because it's just phenomenal. Aurelius.
Yes.
All right, I'll go ahead and pull up Sebastian's now.
Yeah.
It's compared to everyone else, it's gonna look like trash. Come on.
Whatever.
Come on. Start inking.
Yes.
I like it. I dig it.
I
love watching you put it together, man. I love how you sort of, and I love how powerful you're putting in her arms, like, but it's not too much. Like I can see that her arms have weight behind them and like and power, and I can see the fabric around it. So that's good stuff, man. You were like, in 15 minutes. It's always that's why I don't draw. I don't want to do anything in 15 minutes. I have all my shame. I'm too scared.
Yeah, I love how you did this. I'm gonna have to go back and I don't know if Joe obviously hit it a little bit, so I couldn't see everything come up from scratch. But I always like seeing the process that goes in there. And like Joe said, she doesn't have to have She-Hulk arms, but she looks powerful. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, she's been a fun character to build, develop, and again, I want that powerful but less sexy at the same time. She's soft but not soft. Like she'll chill with you, have a beer, but at the same time, if you cross her, she's gonna deck you across the head.
You ever see that? I want to say she was Korean, but it could have been from China. I'm not sure. That one where the two women are walking by, and the smaller one is like playing with the umbrella, and then the taller one takes it and then like flips it over, and then just looks at the camera, looks at the person.
Like super gangster, yeah.
Yeah, that's I feel like that's the look.
Like, yeah, give her an umbrella. She'll show how it's done. Something like that.
Oh, does she have? Yeah, she may have one or else. I mean, come on. It's definitely. My wife has some too, ready to throw at me. Come on.
Good stuff. All right, hey, let's see Gerald's, and we'll pop into the next challenge.
All right, so
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So here it's like she's getting attacked by those Resident Evil like thing monsters. So I just thought it'd be kind of cool to show her like, yep, even though she's getting attacked, she's armed and ready. So she looks. I definitely was drawn to like how you put expressions. So I really wanted to give her like rather than like the squinty eyes, I wanted to make it look like she's surprised, but she's ready to like deal some vengeance on these aliens or these creatures that are coming to get her. So.
It's never fun when tentacles are involved, Jerome. But,
well, I have to go. We'll leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
No, listen, again, I love her, man. Again, I'm honored, brother. I thank you, man.
Oh, no
Thank
problem.
you.
It's a treat to see that. I love being able to interpret our guests' creations because it's like we get to hear the story. We get the story about how they came to be, and that actually fuels the creativity in terms of being able to do our interpretation of it, but still be faithful to our guests' creations.
No, and I'm like again, as I'm gonna be that person who's gonna eat all that humble pie. I'm actually really truly honored seeing everyone draw the character, seeing their take the character and their style and all that. So again, I thank you, Gerald. I thank everyone. Again, I'm just super honored, man.
Wow. The honor is ours. But now we get to go to one of the funnest parts of the show, which is the co-host challenge. And today's is obviously Joe. So Joe,
all right. So I took a couple of things. I took a couple of things in put them in my brain juices and kind of swirled it around and came up with a thing. So one of the things that you like is fantasy. You got your fantasy elf character, which is pretty badass. You've got a passion for speaking about diversity and having those conversations. All right, so I looked at fantasy, I looked at that kind of concept and where I've seen it really done really well, but in like mainstream, right? So I went to Netflix and I was like, okay, what am I going to pull from this? One of my favorite shows right now that I watch with my kids is called the Dragon Prince.
Oh,
you haven't seen that?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
so the Dragon Prince is all about these warring factions of different races that have been at war for so long that they have mistrust for each other, and it's all about getting over different preconceived notions that you have on another group of people. So it's the elves against the humans, it's dark magic and blah blah blah. But one of the things, instead of going with the elves, because you already had an elf character, which is phenomenal, I wanted to go with the animals because I think the animals are really interesting. They're very inspired character designs. So I'm going to pull up a little bit of some imagery to help out with this. It's not going to be one of those like draw it based on how I'm describing it. No, you guys will have a chance.
Good.
Okay, I don't do that.
Let's give you a stick figure for that one.
You see the dog that I drew, and it's just like a little stick figure there. Yeah,
it's a fantasy dog.
All right, so instead of not going too much into it, you can kind of see. Actually, you know what? I don't want to do that. Let me stop 1 second. Sorry. All right, so you can see here's an array of characters that you would see.
Wow.
All right.
I have to watch this show.
And I'm going to stop that. I'm going to share a different screen. Sorry. Let me see here. If it would just work with me here. Well, let's see here. It's weird. It's not coming up with what I wanted. Oh, here it is.
It doesn't play nice.
All right. So here we are. Let me pull it up so you guys can see it. This is going to be the character.
Oh, that's really cool. So
the character design is great. Yeah, go watch it if you guys haven't seen it yet. It's really neat. Let me get to where I want to be here. All right, here we go. So it is the twin-tailed inferno-toothed tiger.
Sounds like straight out of Pokemon.
Yeah, but I mean these are you can see here. You got the twin tails, feathers. Got almost like a lion head with horns coming out.
I love that character design.
Yeah, the character designs are really good. Really good story. I always love to. You can see one of the other characters hanging out with the character. The different elves that you can see over here. But yeah, it takes on really big issues, really big conversations we had in a way that kids can really process it, and it's just a really good story for everybody. So, and you can tell, as I say, it's got a really great character design. So go check it out. It's on Netflix. But that's not me trying to sell Netflix. But
this has not been endorsed by Netflix in any way.
Yeah,
we are not getting paid to say that. That means go check it out. It's really good. And told them that we said that so they can send us the check.
At the end of the day, no matter where we get good, diverse storytelling, good ways of teaching people to be able to like overcome your prejudices and stuff, like I'm all about it. Like if I have to promote, what is it called? What is it? Oh my gosh. What is that dinosaur movie with Littlefoot and everybody?
Land Before Time?
Yeah, Land Before Time, man. 1989 or something.
Yeah.
You know, go watch that movie if you're a kid and you want to talk about overcoming, you know, diversity and concerns and BS that you don't even understand yet because you're a kid.
Yeah,
You know, go watch that movie.
I like that. I like that cartoon. But you okay? So the challenge is: are we supposed to?
The challenge is I want you to draw the twin-tailed Inferno Tooth Tiger in your own style, in your own dynamic way.
All right. Okay. The challenge accepted. All right. So the clock is ticking right now, and I encourage.
The clock is ticking now. It's 11:58.
Let's go.
Let's just say 12. So we'll do 12:15 my time.
Okay. All right. So audience, please draw along with us. Please draw along with us.
I'll keep showing you guys their different designs here, which is pretty cool. And again, this is because I'm not sure what's going on with the tail. Oh, I see. That's just a tail. See those feathers here, bird design. Very cool. I'm going to show you guys some of the, let's see here. Since you guys didn't see it earlier, have you guys have a chance to see it now? Here we go. Un momento, por favor. Let's remove this. Let's share a screen here. Why aren't you just working?
So I'm definitely gonna have to check out this Dragon Prince. It has several seasons, doesn't it? It's been out.
Yeah, I think it's got 3 seasons now.
Yeah.
So this is what it looks like. These the characters across the board.
It has a great 3D cell shaded type feel to it too. Like they go, anybody who liked Avatar: The Last Airbender is definitely going to love this show. So I have it on my watch list. I just haven't got to sit down to see it.
Would you say it's as good as Avatar, or
that's what what some people have said?
Can anything be as good as Avatar?
Yeah. It's true.
Again, Avatar: The Last Airbender is again a great way of story. It's a great thing for people to study for storytelling.
Yeah.
For how they built those characters and those worlds, and world building too. It's a great example of world building, how they were able to build this world, what you use for inspiration.
Right. I think that the Dragon Prince is a little bit smaller as far as world building goes. They really keep it kind of small, even though it's like nations.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. You know, comparing anything to anything that's great is always like, well, is it as good as, you know, I don't know. It's a good example. Is any crime drama going to be as good as The Godfather? You know what I mean? It's like they're just different. They may be inspired by or see some, you know.
It's the different takes of you know, like the world building, the aspect, like, you know, The Godfather, Goodfellas. They're all great examples to watch when you're looking to build a crime drama. Because they all bring a different, interesting aspect. Like even like, you know, when you look at Scarface, that has that gangster drama in it, but it has a different type of gangster drama that we wouldn't get in Goodfellas or The Godfather. So it's like, you know, again, I don't just say stuff like, you know, with this, we're saying like, oh, this is better than that in story. Like, no, everything, like, even because again, I haven't seen this, and people are like, yeah, you should watch it if you love Avatar. Everything from what I've watched and I like, it's always about like, how did they build the world? How did they build the characters? It's always like, for example, My Hero Academia. I love how they built that superhero world. I love how they built the character concepts of going to school, learning to be a hero. And it was just another great, interesting take on a superhero genre that didn't make it feel like a superhero genre. I told people like, yeah, like the best way to describe that show, it's like Naruto meets the X-Men. Oh, that's how I tell people.
That's a good way to express it. I think that'd be.
Yeah, and they really develop like a lot of the side characters and everything too in it, which I feel like it's always great to see. Like, you know, it's just not the main shonen character, even though we know it's his main story, but like you get a little bit too from all the side characters too, which I like about it as well.
Right. I mean, you're constantly learning. Even like, that's the great thing about being a creator is you can sit there and you can you can appreciate great creation, but at the same time, you're sitting there and going, okay, how do I translate this into something that I can do with my own work?
Hmm. And even so, I mean, again, it's about being a master student of the game. Like,
Yeah.
um, don't be upset if someone tells you something that like, not every criticism is going to be constructive criticism. Let's be real about that. But when someone's offering you constructive feedback, everything, just learn from it. Take pieces, learn from it. It's kind of like how I learned how to get into sales. I learned by listening to different people and flavoring it my own way, flavoring it where it was going to help me with succeeding as a salesperson. And it allowed me to be original, where people were like, yeah, I'm not dealing with a robot. It was the same way how I sold this comic, Dead Planet. I went into sales mode, but I went into conversation mode, and I learned how to sell my own stuff. And it's the same, those same concepts. You apply them to character creation, storytelling. It's like, you learn from different people, different things. Like, um, I can say like Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Joe Madura. They've been inspiration on my art, but also anime, comic art, and all that. They've been inspiration, and just learning little bits and things like, how did this person approach this shape, this form, this that. How can I flavor my own and make it look like that it's definitely my work? Learn from it, because I love how Joe Madura captures his shapes. They're phenomenal. Am I going to draw like Joe Madura? No, I'm going to learn how he built those shapes, and I'm going to be like, you know what? How can I, learn from that, in building my shapes, in improving my shapes, improving my work. Same thing with, like, I love how Rob Liefeld does the heavy lines with the shading, in some of his stuff. Um, I loved how he did the exaggeration, so I would exaggerate on various different things. Um, I love the Borderland style. I love the cell shading. I was like, how, would I duplicate a type of cell shading that fits my style, and learn like how they did it. And it's helped with color, it's helped with making an image pop, and it's just learning different
Right.
techniques. And that's one of the things too I like about concept drawing, is like, I'm learning different techniques on how to approach and do stuff, and always just constantly wanting to learn.
Wait a minute. Did you just say that Rob Liefeld exaggerates anatomy?
I don't know. I don't know. Did I?
I
Did
was like, does he? Does he really? Yeah. I don't know. I just had to. I just caught that and I was like, whoa, yeah, there we go. It's a revelation.
Yeah, I mean, even like, you look at Greg Capullo. Capullo has a way that he approaches anatomy, and
I was just joking. Yeah,
it's something that's so beautiful of how he approaches it, and how you've seen his style improve over the years. And it's just,
exactly.
I geek out at everybody's style, even like your style, Jero. When I see your style with the way how you build images and all that, I'm like, I'm geeking out. The way when Jero's doing his stuff, I'm like geeking out. I'm like, dude, this is just phenomenal. I love it. Um, and it's like, and that's the great thing about being a creator, is like, everyone is, you get to see all these unique styles and people and everything, and it's fun to see how people approach it and all that. Like, um when I got the honor of seeing Sammy Castillo draw and host that live drawing, seeing how she was approaching drawing that Batman figure, that was just phenomenal. I was in love with how she did that. I was like, dude. And some people, when, like, they think about, like, yeah, I gotta make this look perfect. Like, no, you just had to capture the shape, and the shape tells a story. That's it. And that's what you're looking to do a lot of the times.
When I hear you keep on going back to that whole focusing on the shape, being able to recognize how shapes interact. And I think that I love that you're saying that, because I think what happens is, and I'm guilty of this myself, is that you get so caught up in like thinking about all the other things, that it's like, I gotta like render this, I gotta put the correct cross hatching in there or whatever. But then you start putting all this detail in, and then you realize, something all looks off balance about it, and it's because you didn't break it down, you didn't think about like the shape, getting the shape right first, and then putting in the details, so that the composition looks balanced, or has energy or moves. And I think that's really cool, that your next step in your evolution of your style is to really examine the shape, focus on the form, and then put the details in later. So was this something that you just, as a studying, that you kind of picked up on your own, or like you just sort of said, well, you know what, I'm going to go reverse engineer and then do this? Is that, did somebody like give you that little bit of constructive criticism to let you know maybe you should do this? Or how exactly did you come to that conclusion to say, going to focus on the form, focus on the shape, and then build off that?
It was following advice from Javier Winnick when he said go to a drink and draw.
Uh-huh.
And I went to a drink and draw. The thing is these are speed drawings that you're doing. And a lot of it with the drink and draw, you were learning the forms of anatomy, because if you're sitting there trying to draw detail, you're not going to capture everything, especially if you're doing it with a time limit. So it was about learning, with learning the form, you're learning to speed up your art. You're learning to draw a little bit faster, but you're also learning how to build a complex image. So it was just a piece of advice from Javier Winnick when he was like, just go to a drink and draw. And then someone was sitting there who's like, yeah, I just focus on the forms of drawing someone who's standing up there. And so that's when I was like put it together. And then again, seeing how Stammy Castillo, I keep going back to that example, and how she just captured the form, and even speaking with Eric Hutch. So it was a lot of conversations with various different creators, seeing it in play, seeing how it worked in comics, and then seeing that a lot of the times when you focus on too much detail, that can hurt an image, believe it or not. Whereas like an image that just looked simple, it looked a lot better than the one that had all this crazy detail.
Agreed. Yeah.
And it's like, and it's nothing against anybody's style. If you love to draw super details and everything, there are some artists who do some super beautiful details and it's very compelling. But a lot of times it's like, yeah, if you do the shape too, you focus on the shape. And it's not to throw out like, don't learn anatomy, because you want to know how an arm bends. Like there's always, even if its anatomy is exaggerated, you still have to learn how anatomy functions.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it doesn't look right, it's still not, and you're doing superimposed on it, it's not going to help with the image. So it has to look some form right. And again, that's when it comes back into form. What are the forms that you're doing? What are the shapes? Because everything is broken down. You can break everything down into shapes and all that. And that's from my time at Full Sail University too.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Joe about too. About your career, in terms of your academic career. You told me some fun stories about how you went to Full Sail, but before you went to Full Sail, you kind of had like a little bit of a detour when you were at NYT, New York Tech, and then I don't know. Do you want to tell a little bit about your story in terms of how you went down one route before you found where you're at right now?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't talk bad about college or not. I mean, it was a great experience. My wife had a great experience. I met some friends. We met my friends. My NYT experience was not all that great. And I mean, they lost loans, and I ended up losing a full-time loan for a full-time student when they were like, yeah, we offered a class in a book that wasn't there, and they removed it from me, and it put me in as a part-time student. I didn't get, and there wasn't a support system for being a creative in comics or anything like that. So I really got pooped on. I got pooped on a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later on when I met people like Scott Barnett, Jeff Marzik, Eric Hutch, who were very, very, very supportive and all that. And that was a great support system. And then I got back into the world of comics by doing fan fiction and going to New York City Comic Con. So pretty much just doing that fun stuff got me back into the world of comics, because I was like, I always wanted to create one, which is when I dropped Dead Planet. Full Sail, I ended up going there, did the virtual class experience. I would have liked to do some of the classes in person, but it was still a great experience because again, I got to learn stuff that I normally wouldn't learn otherwise, and it just helped me with just getting that degree. And I would never say my Full Sail experience was negative, because it wasn't. It was a virtual class, but like I said, there are some classes I would have liked to take in person, but I was unable to do that at the time. So
I was always really impressed by Full Sail. I went to the one of the art institutes because I was going while I was in the military. So one of the things about Full Sail is it's built around, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is how when I did my research on trying to find the right art school to go to, it's very much designed around group projects where you're working with people at specific times. So I just did not have that flexibility. So I had to go with an art institute. But Full Sail always looked very impressive to me as an option.
It was great because from what I got from the virtual experience at Full Sail, one, it teaches you how to work in a virtual setting. Yeah. Which is something I go like, even in this day and age, it's very important now because I'm starting to work for a company where it's complete virtual, which I benefited from that Full Sail experience. Number two, it taught you how to work with people in a group setting virtually too, because again, we were all communicating virtually, staying in contact and all that. And then finally, there was the learn at your own pace type of classes, which I had fun with. And like some of the character concepts, like I learned stuff that I didn't think I would have ventured into as a creator, which was very fun in learning some of these new things and everything.
Well, looking at the time, guys, time flew. It is now 12:15 my time, or 12:14 my time. So we got about 30 to 60 seconds to go ahead and close up the sketches.
Okay.
Daryl went like a madman over there. He's got a whole freaking character. Like he got all legs, everything on there. This is insane what Gerald's putting down.
I wanted to focus on something else. I wanted to focus because I love that mane for the character that's right there. I always love that, a good like character design of
you have that like great regal sort of like that nice profile pose. I always love that almost like a lion pose. Yeah sometimes Gerald just takes it out and he's just like, I'm just gonna keep running at like flash speed.
No, well, this is what I noticed. Like with Gerald, what I see with his art, whenever he's doing whenever I get to tune and let it out, Gerald always does these awesome action sequences.
Dynamic.
And it's like I said, I become a big fan of like Gerald. That's it. Again, like even when I got to see his work doing the concept for Dr. Wen for Mr. Stupendous, I was like, dude, this is just phenomenal what you did with the colors. And it's like you just have this style that's just like, dude.
Man,
you Joe too. Joe, you have this phenomenal style. When I see you bust it, and it's definitely when you're doing the inks too on your amazing art station, bro. Which I'm sad that I wanted to see you draw today.
Sorry,
Joe's like, nah.
I'm gonna get up to you. I'll draw one of your characters in a post video. How's that sound?
Ooh,
yeah, there you go.
You heard it here.
Don't tease us.
And you can tell me which one. You tell me which one, and I'll draw it.
Yeah,
but it's amazing too. Like I said, like a learning style form. Talking with people, like I saw everyone's different style. Like Eric Hutch's style is like he has this great, beautiful like Photoshop brush style, but then when you see him do the pencils and everything and inks, traditionally, it's like, dude, it's just phenomenal. When Javier Winnick, who did the book Reason to Smile, his style is like very cartoony, but his style is like there's this form in the world that he builds. And I become a fan of all my friends and my colleagues' styles, and I was just like, dude, that's just beautiful how you capture that right there. Again, can't wait to see what Gerald did.
We're all fans of you. So let's I hope people were able to join us in the art show.
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay.
I'm building it up. You guys keep talking like this never happened.
Okay.
What drawing? What did we do? What challenge?
Yeah, what were we drawing?
All right, let's go ahead and pull up the art show.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, look at that.
You got Victor just kicking it over here. I love it.
So cool. So cool.
I don't want to mess with that guy.
Great design. I think
that's
beautiful. The tails maybe in the back here.
Yes.
It's almost like whipping around.
Mm-hmm.
We got one of the wings coming across. You got the horns in there. Everything's good. That's good work.
Well, I hate drawing wings, so I commend him. He did a great job. I wings. I always want to throw them out the window and chuck them. I never like my wings.
I'm with you.
Oh.
And Sarah did it. So it's a goat headline and seaweed wings.
I look at this and I get like a Final Fantasy vibe from it, like Final Fantasy.
I got that vibe.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for drawing with us. Like that's a big deal. Keep drawing with us. Keep adding to your stuff. So everyone else who's coming on who isn't familiar with Comics Cast is seeing that we're showing art. So every single time we do let it out, we show fan art. We show people developing their style and showing their work. It's part of the show. We want to make sure that we get a chance for people to see everybody's great work out there. So thank you guys for for including your work. All right.
Awesome.
All right. Now on to the main event.
Let's see Sebastian. I want to see Sebastian.
I don't want to see my work.
Hey, this is great because you can see where it's starting at that 15-minute mark. You see where it's going. I love it.
This has a very graphic design. I mean, I'm going to say graphic design because, you know, that's my day job. I could see this like in a logo. Like you could see if there was this, what is it, lion flaming tail, dual flaming tail horn creature. If it was a logo, I could see this, you know, this could be like a, or if there was like a Tesla that needed a hood ornament, this would be it. It's like,
well, but also sometimes you can see the initial layout, like where it's going to go. You know what I mean? Like,
it's
obviously there's going to be some refinements, but you can, I feel it, man. I got your design. I know where it's going. I know where it's going. Hello, everyone. 15-minute challenge. You know, not everyone has been doing this for a year plus, like Gerald, and is just taking it to the next level.
It's 15 minutes. That's all I got to say. Yeah.
I have done the drink and draw, so I should, you know my forms.
Oh, I like the face of 10 myself. You did a great job.
I really wanted to I don't know that whole main. I really wanted to catch it when Joe showed that character. I was like, oh my god, like that character is phenomenal, Joe. I love it. I now Netflix should be paying you to advertise for the show.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it, because I'm gonna go watch it now.
Me too. All right, so
well, we don't want to do that. What the hell?
See?
How do I? I see what I'm doing wrong here. Let me remove this.
I don't know.
Now we're gonna do this. Boom. Here we go.
Look at that. Look at that. That action sequence. That boy looked like he about to pounce on someone.
Yeah, that.
It looked like somebody moved the yellow, the red dot, and he's about ready to pounce on it.
Yeah, it almost looks like he's like looking at it now. It almost looks like he's laughing. It's like, I don't know.
Like, where you think you're going?
It's like,
you coming back?
Yeah, you know those memes where it's like, the guy does something and then the other person looks at them like, oh, I'm about to smack you, and then it pauses and then it plays like, and that's the moment that he realized he just messed up.
Do you have the dog meme in front of you, Gerald? I feel like you copied that one.
I copied it? No. Copied it from where?
Where the dog is laughing.
Oh.
Yeah, it does look like something I'll monster catch again. About to throw Pokeballs over there.
That's what I did. I totally had a reference here of a dog laughing, and I said, you know what? Let's use this and make him a cat with two tails, with wings. I
love it. I gave you guys an animal challenge. It's always fun.
Yeah,
a bunch of animals.
Yeah, a bunch of filthy animals.
Filthy, stinking animals.
It's the wrong movie. All right, I got it.
Was that Home Alone? I think
that's Home Alone. Yes.
Home Alone Part 2, I think, in New York, which Lost in New York.
All right, Gerald, take us home, buddy.
Alrighty. So here we go. We are approaching our last live drawing challenge, and I'm going to add this to the stream, and we're going to show this last thing. Now, this is going to be such a treat because I purposely wanted this to be last because this. Look at this bad boy. This is a character from Sebastian came up with. He's going to give more of the details of his background, but I saw this is from his D&D podcast that he participates in. We saw what Tone and Law's characters were. Those were his fellow nerds from the around when he did their characters. But he's going to put more love into his character, obviously. so those are work in progresses. This is already here. So this is Kyber, and the name alone, Kyber. So cool. I don't even know. I want to let Sebastian, when we get into the live drawing, him telling more about it. But when I saw this pose, I thought of the classic Captain America pose that Jim Lee did.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that when I saw it first.
But, Sebastian corrected me because he did a pose where Wolverine is doing this similar pose as well. So there's all sorts of
first, Wolverine or Captain America.
Yeah, it has all sorts of nostalgia feels to it. And then yeah, I know a little bit about it, but I want to hear it from Sebastian's point of view. So let's start the clock. Those of you who want to draw along with us, do a screen capture right now. And, Joe can always pop this up maybe halfway through our drawing challenge so that people can kind of see it again. But yeah, cool character. We're going to learn a little bit more about it. This is Sebastian's own original character for his D&D podcast. And let's start the drawing. And that's all to you, Joe. So you run it.
All right, so now it is 12:23 my time. I'll make it 12:25. And what is that? 12:30 we'll go ahead and what was that, 12:25? I can't do math. 12:40. We will close it out, and then we'll take a look at it. So this character is the one I would volunteer, but I'll draw whatever you want, man. I'll draw whatever you want. But I love this character.
Draw whatever to your heart's content, brother. I just love it when I see people draw the characters. That means I created like a cool character that people like.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, it's always an honor. But yeah, whatever questions you have about Garber, if you want to draw again, he's been a fun character to bring to life.
I always find that a lot of people that like D&D and like fantasy, they tend to gravitate characters that they've created gaming wise, or they were influenced by characters that they gamed. Have you been gaming with this character for a long time, or is it more just something you're just kind of playing with?
Well, the character name, Kyver was a playing on Kaiser Soze, because I just like that whole thing with the Kaiser Soze and everything. So I came up. So that was like, you know, I was like, I want to come up with an original name, and I was like, Kyver was the name that I came up with. He is a rogue assassin, criminal, in the world of D&D. He has a nice little he has a nice little mohawk. So he was my second created D&D character in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. And I think, Tommy, you could hear the stories for Kyver in our D&D podcast on mbeyond.com. It's called The Medusa's Cascade Collateral Damage. And it was just fun bringing this life to this character. He is without giving too much away, he is a damaged character because of his past. So I really went into some areas of, you know, like even my DM was like, you know, are you doing this to be a jerk? And I was like, no, there's a backstory and all that. And then we sat down, talked about the backstory. He goes, I like the character. He's really, really good. And he helped me also too with, because that's a great thing about a DM is that they're also helping you narrate like the story and just helping you bring it to life. And so this was a collaborative effort with Tommy. And he's just been that DM. I told him, listen, I want to run with this. How would this work? He's like, yeah. He's like, dude, go for it. He's like, I'm all down for it. And so it's been fun just building this character. I call him a fun, lovable a-hole because that's essentially what he is. He's a fun, lovable a-hole. He goes through a lot, man. I learned a lot about character development, character building by playing this character and by building the world that he is in, building the supporting characters, giving it to Tommy, and then him coming back with stuff and feedback and just overall just having fun playing this character. So I attribute Kyver to all the world building success that and learning how to build a character. And I like drawing him in styles of like you're going to see him on a wanted poster because essentially that's just who his character is. It's definitely calls for a lot of fun sessions within the group. And we have fun with it, man. We've already uploaded 30 episodes of the podcast that we started recording February of 2020. And this was a great way of, because I learned a lot about myself during the pandemic in terms of, mental stuff and everything. This was a great therapy session. It was a great way of connecting with people. And it was a great creative tool, D&D. And it was a great project to learn other things too, and how to build a world building project with other people. Because that's what it is. It's like, the Collateral Damage campaign is not the only campaign, and Kyver is not the only character I've played in this world that we've recorded. I've now have tons of characters, tons of concepts that will get released to people later on to actually enjoy and everything to take a look at. And this collaborative world building has just been fun working with all the guys over there at the studio. Yeah, Kyver he's been very, very fun to play. You can call him kind of like a ninja cat, but at times, because we know D&D is with the luck of the roll, so sometimes he has been a crappy ninja cat.
Crappy ninja cat. All right. So how long is this? When this character? When was he formed? Like you came up with the concept? Was it last year? This year?
Last year, February 2020.
Okay.
And it's just been fun fleshing out his character background, his backstory, the things that he's gone through, building off different emotions, taking them to different emotional states. So it's like, and again, it's just been a fun tool. It's like, okay, I did this for Kyver. Let me take these principles I learned with building this character and going off into like this direction now.
I like the whole Kyver Kaiser Suse thing. It made me. I'm a big fan of The Usual Suspects. I think it's a great movie, and that twist will never be beat by any movie thus far. I think it's just
No, it's the greatest twist in history, bro.
often mimicked, but never duplicated. You know.
I really like your style when it comes to animal human hybrids. Like it just really fits for me. I don't know why. I think you have a little bit more flexibility with your expressions there than a little bit more like people have to say, oh, well, if it's a human, it has to be 80% this way, you know, no matter what style it is. And I think that did not, your dynamic expressions in the way that you portray them really works for this sort of character design. Like it really fits you well.
Thank you.
I don't know. I think, yeah, I'm super excited to see more from it, from specifically that character. That would be a lot of fun. We just lost your camera, Gerald, just for the
okay.
record.
Let me get back in there.
Yeah, I mean, I for many years I spent just drawing faces. And that's another piece of advice I like to tell people. If you're having trouble with a particular part with how you want it to look on a character, just draw it. Just have a sketchbook, fill it up. So I had a sketchbook that I filled up with nothing but character faces of original characters I wanted to draw, but like in different facial expressions. How would the eyes work? How would I express this on the eyes? How would I express the eyebrows? How would I do this? How would I do that? So that was just the different ways I started learning how to like just build expressions. In many drawings that I've done traditionally and digitally, I like to focus a lot on the eyes. And again, I feel like a lot of times I have like a smash mouse approach when I'm drawing stuff, because like as you can see, I really come in with like this messy style, and I come in later to try to clean it up with what I like and what I don't like, and erase what I don't like. And I tend to work really large times. So like I work on a really bigger like canvases when I'm doing like a full body pick. But you know, I just at the same time I just try to have fun with it. And that's the most important thing. If you're not having fun with it, then you know, it's just have fun. Remember, like it's mostly fun with doing a concept, character design, and just really overall creating something.
This is, for some reason, I decided that this is where I wanted to go with my size here.
I don't blame you. I don't. I thought at the time 11 by 17 was huge, and then I started drawing on 11 by 17. I was like, no, this is not big. I need to go bigger.
Yeah, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're like, I want to do more stuff. But one of the things I noticed when you go in a larger format is if you've got something that you're struggling it with, like for me, perspectives, background, buildings, things like that.
Yeah,
you can't hide on a big scale.
Nope.
Like you can't hide it. Smaller paper, you can sort of do that. So whenever I do something of that scale, I always usually bring my budget up a little bit higher, because it is a more advanced techniques for a lot of different things. But yeah, I love larger images. It's just something that, I don't know, something about like giving somebody something that's a bigger piece of paper, as like with more content on it. I get a sense of you know, a significant contribution to somebody else, you know, with a bigger piece. But you know, that's just weird. This is my thing.
It challenges you too, because it's like you're filling things up that you normally wouldn't think about doing on something on a smaller format.
Exactly.
Like it's like, especially if if you're a super detailed artist, you're gonna sit there and you try to fill everything up. But it shows you also too with working with a sense of space and everything. So it's, I don't know, it's just like I could work small, but then when I'm working big, there are just things I was like, okay, I feel like I have more opportunity to add certain things in there that I normally wouldn't do. And again, even like with perspective, because I hate perspective drawing, I hate it with a passion. Um, it's like, it just fill a book up with perspective drawing. Like Mark Crilly, I think is definitely one of the fun artists that I've got to see some of his tutorials, and he had a fun way of approaching perspective. And again, anybody having trouble, just fill up a sketchbook. Take a trusty sketchbook, sit there, have fun with it, fill it up, do a bunch of stuff. Um, don't think of it as boring work. Just go there and do it. Don't try to do it perfect. If you try to do it perfect, you're gonna just mess it up. Just have fun, mess it up, get messy, get super messy, and that's how you're gonna improve and be comfortable as an artist. Um, the Mona Lisa is not a perfect drawing, but it is a perfect drawing. And it didn't stop him from going in there and messing it up. I'm pretty sure he messed up a bunch of pieces before we got the Mona Lisa. And even so, you could probably still find different things in there. But that's like, any art style.
Yeah.
Well,
like you said, I mean, it's really at the end of the day, it's about filling up a sketchbook. Not perfect sketches, not perfect drawings, but filling up the sketchbook. And some of the best artists in the scene right now with the indie guys, I mean, they've got loads of sketchbooks that are completed, and you can see it through their work that they've put the time in. So yeah, I mean, that things, again, I'm saying this, you guys can hear me say it, I'm a hypocrite. I don't have sketchbooks that are completed, and that's again why I'm an older artist who's been doing this for a while, and my stuff's good, but it's not where it should be, as far as flexibility, dynamic, all that good stuff. And that would come from doing more sketchbooks. So just take like a month and just do a sketchbook. Maybe we should do a sketchbook challenge on Comics Cast, where everyone just pulls out a sketchbook for a month and just fills it out.
Do it.
I think that would probably be something interesting.
That would be dope.
Well,
I think that would.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Sebastian. What were you gonna say?
No, I think that would be a super dope challenge, because again, it like you pick a subject matter that you want to draw, or fill a sketchbook in it, and then just do it.
Yeah, and I think that the thing about a sketchbook is it's not as intimidating. You think you have a blank. I don't know how you guys do it on 11x17 or that poster size stuff.
No, that's not a sketchbook, but
no, I'm just saying that to me it's intimidating. I think that it's like I still work on a smaller scale, just because I don't feel like it's as I don't feel the pressure to fill up a page as much. And when you do a sketchbook is smaller. But my problem is finishing it, getting things to a finished state. And that's where you have to go to that bigger scale, where you have to like ink it and get it done. But to me, the sketchbook is always nice because, or even just to me, sometimes even just using an 8.5 by 11 piece of copier paper, just because if I'm using like Bristol board or some sort of fine tooth, super expensive paper, I feel, gosh, I gotta do my Mona Lisa on it, and I can't do that. So it's sort of like I beat myself before I even started. And when I do just using things that are around, which is like copier paper or a sketchbook, which is smaller, that helps get past that phobia that I have, and I can just be free to just sort of just do whatever whatever I want without feeling the pressure that I need to like do something that's so, thought-provoking and is going to be a next masterpiece, which I still have yet to do. No masterpiece here, but I don't know.
Your work, you have some awesome work. Stop that.
Well, I think it's like, how do you guys work past that? I mean, you obviously graduated from whatever fear that I have. You pretty much can work on multiple scales, large scale or small scale. And I think going digital, Sebastian, which when you do digital, you have that flexibility. As long as it's high enough resolution, you can always make it really big or really small, right? I mean, you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, I mean that's the flexibility with digital, but I mean there are ups and downs with digital versus traditional, and with digital, I think there's just sometimes you could find yourself getting into, and this is just my personal opinion, into a lazy habit with stuff at times, but stuff that you wouldn't do if you're doing a traditional drawing, and like with traditional drawing, you can realize the limitations and stuff of what you feel that you can do, and then but I feel that also helps with you becoming your own worst enemy, because we're all our own worst critics. We
Right.
all like hold ourselves. We're the only person really holding ourselves back with doing the things that we want to do. I mean, if your artwork can go out there and you can tell a story, you are a great artist regardless of what style you're bringing to the table. It's important of telling a story when you're getting into the world of comics and the world of creating creative like storytelling media. I mean, I've seen and I've learned not to be hypercritical of stuff. I've seen people criticize others on their style and didn't offer, and because they were just being jackals. That's what I'll call them. But I've seen people whose art that people would be like, "Oh, that art is terrible. It looks like a 5-year-old did it," but yet they're telling stories. They're getting millions for it, and because it's like their artwork tells a story. Your artwork doesn't have to be a Picasso or anything like that. If you can tell a story, because like there are people out there who I'm fans of their artwork. They post nothing. They don't do anything. And it's like, dude, get out there and tell a story. Your artwork is phenomenal. I don't think my artwork is the best out there. I'm super critical on my artwork and all that. But like at the same time, getting over, like you said, Gerald, getting over that fear. I'm like, I've gotten criticized by so many people, and it's just learning, like, you know what? It doesn't hurt me because I still love that I'm doing this. I don't care if someone likes this, someone's gonna love it. And if I could have just one person like it and it's helped them with their story and everything, and it's helped them get through, they help transport them to the world, and I did my job. I did my job. I did something great because I've touched at least one person. I don't need to touch millions. I've touched one person.
Right. I love that. I love the philosophy behind that, because you don't need to, you don't have to have these grandiose like goals. Just sort of start small, make an impact with what you're doing, make it matter, and then go from there. You don't need to like hit home runs all the time. It's also, like you said, it's producing it. It's getting something done. Because I think that's been always my big fear too. It's like I'm guilty of it too. It's like thinking everything has to be perfect before I can show anybody anything. And now it's sort of like, you know what? Just get it out there. Even if it's a work in progress, if it's something that you're going to be working on for the next year, you just need to like get it out into the public square. And people can criticize it. People can say what they want. But at least you delivered. You showed something for it, right?
Watch this. If you get it out there, you've already beaten 70% of that competition. And that's the number I'm just going to throw out there. You've beaten 70% of the people out there just by getting your work out there.
Right.
Because for every person that posts, there's 9 people who are afraid to post something and are terrified of posting something. So by posting something out there, showing that you're a creator, showing that you're an artist, you've already deep dive, taken a step in being a creator. And again, it was always a fear of mine. And then I started posting, and and like I said, I know people who are phenomenal artists, but you wouldn't know that unless you personally knew them,
because they didn't put anything out there, right? They got to put something out there. Yeah.
All right, guys, 4 minutes left.
4 minutes.
It's 4 minutes.
So have you thought about making a D&D style comic to go with your characters, yours and Laws and Toad's characters? I know these exist in your
I can't talk anymore about the stories and all that.
Spoiler.
In Beyond Studios, again, is a company that's we're world building. We're it's a conglomerate of creators who not only are building content for the studio but for our brands. There are a lot of back behind the scenes talks of doing various different stuff with the concepts and the characters we created. Like I said, we started the podcast February of 2020 recording. Only 30 episodes have launched so far. That's not including what we have in the back end. And then there are multiple campaigns, multiple character art that has not been released yet. So that's what's saying, like the In Beyond D&D world, the world building that we've been doing with D&D. There's a lot of stuff that we are looking to pretty much release when it comes to the characters and the concepts. So that's why it's like, no, that's why I say I tell people just to follow In Beyond Studios, follow me, follow all the guys, because you're going to see a lot more, like not just with the D&D world, just overall all the creative concept and content that we're all doing and everything, because we like to create stuff.
All right, I didn't mean to like go into spoiler territory there where you didn't want
No,
to.
I mean it reveals stuff, but at the same time it doesn't.
Yeah, it just your character designs are so rich. I could definitely see it, and I'm glad that it's going beyond just doing just a character for D&D experience, a role playing game, to see it actually go beyond.
All right, guys, make sure you got. What do we got? We got 2 minutes left to make sure that we are sending over to the art show. Make sure that you guys are going to Indie Comics Cast on YouTube. Follow and share with us. Share that out. Follow us. Hit the bell so you guys can always see what we're doing here on the Comics Cast. If you're drawing along, great. I hope you guys are. Make sure you're going to our art show on Facebook. It's a group on Facebook. And we will show it right here on this show right now. Back to the action.
Gerald's beating my butt over here.
All right, we got about a minute, guys.
No, I have a lot. Like, for those that are interested too, Kyver is what's called a tabaxi. That's what race in D&D. Yeah, so he's a tabaxi. He's a rogue. A rogue is kind of like, again, they do sneaky stuff, sneak. And again, he's just been an overall fun character to play. I call him a fun, lovable a-hole, and just the interactions. And it's if you've never played D&D, I recommend it to people. It's a great, fun world building tool. We have people that are taking newbies into the world, and it becomes a great collaborative creative tool. And you can create a collaborative world as like there are people who like try to railroad a game and try to like, oh, I'm just going to tell my story, forget about everyone else. That's not a good game. When you're allowing players to actually help contribute to the development of their characters, that's when you start to see something magical happen in the creative process. And it's just, and again, I thank our DM Tommy, who's phenomenal with doing this stuff, having stuff created. Like he'll have scenarios for us to go through, and he helps with the world building. And again, it's these components that I've come to love, like D&D and all that.
All right, guys, pencils down, digital and otherwise.
Okay, all right. Let me see what people have done.
All right. Let's go to art show. We got a couple.
Sarah Dean, ooh, that's awesome, Sarah.
She said, "Okay, this cat ninja is fun to draw."
I have as much fun with him. Go ahead.
I like it. It looks like she's almost like it. He may be scaling the wall here, or jumping down. I'm not quite sure.
Ninja wall running. I think that's what he's doing. He's doing the Ninja Gaiden style ninja wall running.
Oh yeah, remember what was it? The second G.I. Joe movie.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Oh yes, Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes is running along the mountain.
And Jinx. Yeah. That was probably one of the highlights of the movie because.
I mean that's a highlight of almost any movie. That was pretty impressive. Anyway.
Yeah.
Again, I want to say thank you to Victor and Sarah. You guys both did great work.
Wow, Victor, that is awesome, man.
Nice.
That's great. Look at how he's changing the camera.
I gotta definitely
dynamic.
I definitely gotta get Embion to shout some of these out, man, because we all love when people are interpreting the characters, and have fun with it. We love seeing the fan art. Our DM Tommy has actually worked with various artists to get characters like done. And there's one particular artist, she was working on some of the characters for like the different female characters that you'll see in the different campaigns, which again, it's been fun to see. And I've been loved. Sarah, Victor, you guys, your work is phenomenal. Thank you. I'm honored.
There you go. So Sarah gave some context. He jumped while avoiding an attack.
And ready for a counter.
Oh,
yep.
Narrative. Putting some narrative in there. Looks really cool.
I would have to roll if you made that. So I just love drawing him with this little sneer. He has his little mohawk. He just loves his little sneer. He loves causing trouble. Yes. Again, I have too much fun playing this character. People are like, yo, like, dude, there's just so much that happens in the campaign. And I'm just asking Sarah's question. D&D is free to play. You get with a group, someone who's like a dungeon master. You can go to like a local tabletop store and they'll have games, like the game that like the store around us. But he's just so fun to play with this character. getting to mess around with people, getting to build those relationships. And like I said, this is just him most likely sitting at a table with a beer, just holding up a knife, talking garbage, just talking just straight smack to whoever's sitting across the table from him, because that's Kyver. He's fun.
You know what? I'm going to actually put you in contact with one of our other guests, Robert Powers. He had a successful Kickstarter that was just,
Oh, I know Rob.
You know him, right? Remember Penguino's Revenge?
You've had Law built a D&D stat sheet for Penguino.
Oh, shoot. You guys should do a crossover. This would be right. This would fit. Even your style complements Robert's. You could put him, I don't know, whatever the next chapter. Maybe Penguino goes back in time to whatever, or he goes to an alternate reality. He ends up in your D&D world, and we have Kyver and Penguino, doing a Conan the Barbarian style story. I think that would be totally.
Listen, I will love for any opportunity to work with Rob, because Rob is an awesome dude, man. He is super awesome.
Awesome dude. Yeah. I love what you did though. I see the attitude that you're talking about. I like his raised, sneer a little bit there. He's like, yeah, I'm ready to take you down. I think that's what I really gravitate in your artwork is the expressions. You talk about form and shape, but I think another one of your strengths is your expressions, and the eyes. Everybody says eyes is the windows to the soul. That's something that I always like to see, like where the eyes are, where they're leading you in the composition. And I see this. You get that attitude when you said the lovable a-hole. I could see this guy as the lovable a-hole interacting, in all sorts of things.
Everybody else in my party like lovable. Where do you get the lovable part? I'm like, I gotta sell the character.
he rolled the dice. A lovable,
it's all in the roll.
It's either a lovable a-hole or just a really bad a-hole. But anyway, this is my interpretation.
That's badass, bro.
Of your character. I love Kyver. I think he's really cool. I decided to make it look like he's in that getting ready.
It looks super rugged. I love it.
That looks like a future cover. It could be a cover in a future book.
Good
work, man.
Yeah, thank you. And this is what I'm telling you. When we have guests here on Let It Out, it really is nice hearing their stories, the stories behind the characters, how they came about, where they're going. And I think that's a little different about like what you see. I guess TikTok, you can see a little bit of emotions like that. But when you have a show like this, you get more than just seeing the picture. You hear the story behind it. And that's what what we pride Comics Cast Let It Out is that we get to hear, our audience gets to hear the story, the genesis, the backstory, the behind the scenes. And that makes me want to know more. That makes me want to follow the creator. I follow all you guys, but I want to make sure that I know where you guys are going to go with these things because it's so cool to hear their stories. So that concludes our drawing challenges. I want to thank Victor and Sarah for
thank you guys
along with us. It was always a treat to see their artwork. And we're here at this. We're getting close to the end of the show. I could easily talk to you for another hour, but we're going to try and speed through this part. I gave it to you. Let's talk about.
He would. I made him cut his show down by an hour because I was like, nobody is going to watch a 4-hour show. You got to cut it down.
It's a vanity thing. It's like I'll watch it. I'll watch it several times. But anyway, let's do this. Sebastian, tell us about the future. We heard a little bit about some of the stuff that you couldn't go into to details. Just tell us a little bit about what we can expect from Sebastian. Nerds of the Round, anything you want to talk about in terms of just the future. So
with obviously August 28th, 29th, we are in and Beyond Con. So we're bringing back our virtual show. We really want to build that environment out for people to connect, making it an environment where people can network, learn, connect. And we're using this as a platform for other future stuff that we're talking about with helping with the community to learn, connect, and network with each other, and for fans to connect with them. Because we know physical shows are coming back. We eventually will do a physical show, but use the con virtually as a extended portion of that physical show, because we want people to, like, if we run a show in New Jersey, we obviously can't connect with people in California, so let's run the show here and still run the virtual show and people can connect. So that's what we're all about right there. Where I'm still working on another IP outside of Pandora Complex with and Beyond. Again, it's not a D&D world, it's another type of alternate world that I'm building that's been inspired by Hunter x Hunter, Dragon Ball, and other various things. That was us. I just want to build this world of characters. They're very colorful. I gave Cheryl a sample of what one of the things looked like already from one of the pieces. Just got the cover. I just got the graphic design for the title from my buddy Joe, who works with us. Awesome, phenomenal graphic designer that works with us. And again, that's the future with that. We're looking to build more of the D&D worlds. I've actually started running my own campaign to tell a story. So we're building these D&D worlds. So you'll definitely see more development with Kyver, because we just did a recording 2 weeks ago. We're about to do another one this Saturday coming up of what's going on with the characters, because we just got to another point. And look into the character all the characters deeper that are remaining in the story, because yes, in D&D characters do disappear or die. It happens. I'm not gonna reveal anything too much, but it's fun. Resurrection. Yeah, we run into some fun stuff, but yeah,
no resurrection. They're all actually dead, but
the variants.
We'll play with variants.
But no, it's been fun because we have more D&D stories, so there are going to be more character concepts you're going to see from me, from other characters that we will be releasing. And Pandora's Complex, I'm working with Alexander Sapunsis from Wayward Raven. He's the artist behind Damn Heroes. Working with him with developing that story, and I will be working again with Rich Dresden to help develop another storyline for Luckyzilla Comics, for Dresden Media, Luckyzilla. So those are some of the stuff. And nerds, we're sticking with Live Tuesdays, finishing up our creator series in August with our last recording for creator series. Unfortunately, we are going to do another new creative segment that's going to be featured on live show. So we're going to be primarily a live show after our final recording in August. And it's been some phenomenal creators that we've spoken to, gotten to introduce the world to, gotten to network with. Gerald and Joe have been guests on the show. And we've gotten to meet a lot of great people. And we want to continue to do that over there at Nerds. And just, showcase a lot of stuff that you normally wouldn't see. Like we're just recently, last 2 episodes, we showcased Rodney Fike's commercial for his Kickstarter. And we want to continue to do that and showcase creators, not just in the comics realm, but in various realms, like Lou Seif. You guys remember Lou Seif?
Music is the MC DJ Extreme, who did he did your music, right? He did the music for the opening.
Yep, he just dropped it on us, like, yo, let me know if this works. I was like, okay, cool. And I looked at it, I was like, dude, this is phenomenal. Like, you sure we can? He's like, yeah. He's like, it's all good, dude. You guys are. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
and it was a phenomenal collaboration. I'm gonna collaborate with him again down the line too. There are a lot of collaborations that are in the works, and it's just like, I told people, like, don't worry, projects are coming out. It's just I want to make sure that these are good things that are with people that they're going to enjoy, that people are going to have fun. And the major thing is transporting people to organic worlds that they love and have fun with, and giving them lore to follow up on. Because when you have I'm one of those people, when I have deep lore, like Tony's one of those guys too, he'll tell you, when we have deep lore, we're going to deep dive into that stuff, because like, oh wow, is this big world? That's why I go crazy with the whole Marvel stuff sometimes.
Well, I'm there with you, and that's so awesome to hear. When I said a glimpse of the future, you just got the freaking like lowdown in terms of like everything.
Well, talking about your virtual con, if you ever need any help or anything for that con or a future one, let us know. If you have a video as far as like advertisement, we'll run it on this show, and any of our products, we'll run it and any of our platforms. So yeah, whatever you need, man, we're there. If you need somebody to do an extra interview for something, just ask, man. Whatever, we'll help out.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be. I definitely, because we're starting to announce the lineup of stuff. Definitely, you guys want. We'll talk more about it in the green room. But yeah, it's a free show for all creators to attend, all guests to attend. Use code Get Nerdy with it to get discount on the VIP and upgraded stuff that we're doing this year. We're testing out a lot of great stuff. But yeah, we still made it the general admissions and participation free for everybody. Our most important goal is to make sure that we are getting people to network have a community that they can come to and network and learn about other creative communities that they can be a part of. We're not looking to be the center of things, but we want to help to be facilitators and promote stuff. We want to see people their brands promoted. We want to see people build their brands. We don't want to be the end all be all. We want to be like, hey, yeah, remember that? We helped bring that together, and that's it. If people can connect together, we did our job. And so we're just looking to overall have fun, deliver another good show this year. And again, it's been fun meeting the people that we've gotten to work with and building the relationships. And it's been fun. And again, it's like building relationships with you guys and everything too, man.
It's all there, man. It's all there. I think there's about 5 or 6 really good groups that are like, this is what we're doing. We're building the community. This is our we're going to help where we can. And thankfully, we know all of them, and I think we all try to work as well as we can together to help promote. So awesome, man! I don't think that any better final words could have been spoken. I think you totally picked your stuff.
Yeah,
you picked your brand, and you're kicking butt, man. So good stuff. Congrats to where you guys are at now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you're going to keep growing. Sky's the limit. You guys have great work ethic, and big goals. And clearly you have a vision. So good stuff, man. Good stuff. That's very inspiring for everybody else. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Cheryl, you take us out of this show. We go to the green room, and I can go get my snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Get that food. All right.
Our seasoning. We got to get our seasoning. But I think Sebastian, you totally wrapped it up, because I thought you were just going to talk about the future, but you did your Oscar speech pretty much there as well. So. I thank you for saying that. Your dear friend, and unless you have any other final thoughts or thank yous you want to say, you said it really well. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Bacon and pancakes are good on a Sunday morning.
It's happening. That's good. I'm gonna make bacon and pancakes.
Bacon will fix anything. Bacon is just that was. Yeah.
You didn't miss the show, Alfred. You're still watching it. Enjoy the show. Alfred, tell us how much time you have left.
Yeah.
Add the links to your Kickstarter.
Yep.
In the chat right now. Go check out Alfred's Kickstarter he's got out right now. Character design looks great. Story looks great. Art looks great. It's a total package indie book. You will not be disappointed in any way. It looks great.
Yeah, I'll post something to our Facebook page. I think it's the last day. It closes, I think, today. And it's in the last few hours of it. But I'll post something to our Facebook page. And I'm going to encourage Sebastian, when you're done, if you want to polish up any of the artwork that you have, let me know when you're ready with it, and just send it to me. We definitely want to beat those Facebook algorithms and rehype your appearance when we can feature your artwork again. So send that along to me. So I want to
send you some fun stuff.
Yeah, send that to me. 29 hours left for Green Tempest. So there you go. So check out the
link in the description. Go check it out.
All right. So we end the show with one other thing, which is basically a shout out to a charity group that we are very fond of. Let me add that to the stream here. And that charity group, let me put up the banner here. So if you look here at the bottom, this is how you can get in touch with them. They are known as Golden Fight, and they are
literally, all you have to do is Google Golden Fight, and they will come up.
Yes. And they're friends of Joe. The leadership is, and they're an organization. They're a charity that I like to call big enough and small enough at the same time. Small enough in the sense that they're not super large. They definitely have a very focused approach. That's in my neck of the woods. It's the Mid-Atlantic region, Virginia, DC, Maryland, Delaware. It's that area. But by no means does that take away from their mission. And this is where they're big. They are huge in this respect that what they do is they focus or they help families that are dealing with very trying circumstances. Their children are afflicted with cancer, terminal illnesses, very difficult diseases to manage. And when they're focusing on the healing of their child, inevitably they will incur financial difficulties. And that's where Golden Fight comes in. This is where they're huge. Of the money that they raise, 98% of that goes directly to the family. That nominal 2 to 3% takes care of, administrative fees. A lot of the leadership does this on a volunteer basis. So they want to make sure that any money that they raised goes directly to the families. So if you're interested in learning about this phenomenal organization, go to goldenfight.org. Like Joe said, you can go into Google, just type in Golden Fight, you will find them. Yeah, just a tremendous organization. So we
don't have any financial ties with them. We don't receive anything from them. It's just, I know how hard he works. I know how hard the team works. He's passionate about it. They are connected like face to face with these families. It's not they're sending money to they're very connected to these families. Very closer than I think I would have the power to be able to be. So however we can support, I have, and hopefully you guys choose to as well, but we don't receive any financial support from them. We're not financially tied to them in any way. It's just some way that we try to help where we can.
Yeah. So yeah, check them out. We're not we have no financial ties to them. We just want to put the good word out there. So check them out, goldenfight.org. And this is where I shed a tear. I always say this, get sad, because I'm going to have to say goodbye to our guest. And one more time, if you look at the bottom, this is how you can follow and like and commission Sebastian. Oh, do you have something?
Follow me, please. Follow me.
Hey, maybe we'll maybe we'll do some sort of Patreon or something.
Yes. Where
you guys can hang out with us in the green room. Let us know if you guys are interested in that, because we'll probably hang out with Sebastian for about another 20 minutes.
Exactly, if that.
If not longer.
You're going to do the Hispanic goodbye.
Exactly. All right, with that being said, Joe, if you want to prime the video loop to get out, I'm going to say this is an edition of Comics Cast, Let It Out. Follow Sebastian. Like and follow Comics Cast on Facebook, Indie Comics Cast on YouTube. Joe, did you have something else to say?
Just want to say, follow us, man. Yes. Follow us. We are going to the next stage of this wonderful development. We need people that are entertained by the content. We need to continue building the audience where we're understanding the creators, but ultimately we need to keep building the audience that is willing to buy comics. Because at the end of the day, we need people that are like, hey, I want to buy comics. Where do I go to buy indie comics? Well, they're all over the place. Or indie comics cost too much money to go to the Kickstarters and spend $50 to get a comic, or $25, $40. The end game here is being able to have access to a large group of comics, all right? But that is also connected to how many people that we have that end up paying for the service. So we're going to keep building. It's going to be something that's beautiful, that changes the game, but it's all part of the same thing, which is who's willing and who's ready to be a part of that change. Because it's going to be dynamics, it's going to be great, but just like anything in this community, it's one giant family, and we need to pull all of our resources together so we change this thing. We change the game entirely from the ground up. Right now, we're kicking butt with Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but I think we can do better. And Comics Cast is going to build that. So we're just going to keep building our audience. We're going to keep helping out where we can, and then we're going to change the game. So go follow us, Indie Comics Cast on Facebook and on Instagram. So see you guys later. Peace out. This is us going to the green room.